Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Super excited to have you. Please pardon my camera for this particular part of it. As you know, I'm always dealing with some sort of a glitch, but I finally figured out how to set up my good camera for the Zoom, but I can't use the same camera for both. So just don't judge me is what I'm trying to say. All right, guys, we are going to get started here. Please drop your city and state and let us know where you are watching from. I want to see where everybody is tuning in at. And I see, woohoo, Walter's already on it. He said Orange Mound, Tennessee. And then we got a Houston, Texas in the house. So super excited. You guys, each week I learn a little something on the technical side. So if you catch me in like a month from now, I am going to be jamming. But for right now, we just got to deal with what we have. All right, so let's see, what do we have to talk about? Oh, if it's your first time tuning in, my goodness, thank you so much for doing so. This is killing me. I want to see if I can try to adjust it a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you for watching. And if you came back, that is even more amazing. Let's see here. I've got people, my friends who are trying to join in, needing the passcode for tonight's show. So give me just a second, you guys. And let me get that over. All right, this is the joys of live. All right, so let's see here. Thank you guys for your patience. All right. So let's give it. All right, and I'm going to make sure that nobody else is missing their passcode. Okay. All right, so it looks like just one needed it. All right, so hopefully we are good to go. All right, so let's get back on track here. Thank you guys for your patience. All right, so we have James, aka Gator. Nice, Dallas, Texas. Very nice. Thank you guys for waiting. This is, like I said, this is what happens when we're live. I got to do what I got to do. If you can, just take a moment really quickly to go ahead and hit that like button on YouTube. This lets YouTube know that this is content that other people should watch. And so it tells the algorithms this is something worthwhile. So if you can hit that, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit subscribe. And then if you hit the notification bell, it will alert you that I'm going live, which most of you guys probably are subscribed because you are here right on time. And that's pretty impressive. All right, so I want to get into very briefly my why. I'm going to start doing it on more of my videos so people understand where I'm coming from. But for me, I see a lot of people who want healthy relationships. I hear men, I hear women, and they want the same thing at the end of the day. And I think a lot of times there is a break in communication. So my goal is to bridge the communication gap between men and women. I feel like there's a lot of stuff out there that's just for entertainment. And while I think that a lot of our conversations can be entertaining, it's not meant to be a snooze fest. I really want people to walk away with tools that they can take into their relationships, whether it's platonic relationships, family relationships, but especially male and female romantic relationships. That has a special place in my heart. And I believe that the way to healthy relationships is to, someone else asking for a passcode, you guys, hang on one second. The way to healthy relationships is having emotional intelligence. And so I want to teach emotional intelligence. And I also want to teach people how to have healthy relationships. So let me go ahead and send this other passcode. And let me make sure that someone else doesn't. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Sorry, guys. Hang on, hang on. I've got one more person. There we go. I'm going to be proactive before they realize that they need the passcode. All right. And while I'm doing that, you guys, let me know how you guys heard about this channel. Let me know if you heard about it through me personally, if you were already following me on social media, if somebody else gave you a recommendation and got you here. I would love to see what brought you guys to my channel. This is so hard to multitask with my phone sideways. Okay, so hopefully that is everybody. Okay, all right. Where was I? All right, so let's see who we have in the chat room. Let's see who we've got over here. And before we do, let me get my stuff situated here. All right. Y'all know how it is when I first get started. There's always a few glitches. All right, so let me close this out. Oh my goodness, finally. Hey, what's up? Hey, everybody. All right, make sure you guys unmute yourselves. I know you guys are good and you always mute yourself for the program. Hello.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. So I am struggling. I'm over here. I set up I have a new setup. So I'm trying to work with these new cameras, but you guys, I apologize for that. I'm trying to not block one camera with the other. It's just technical stuff. How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Amazing. I can't believe it's already been a week since we started. Okay, so I'm OCD. I can't even fake the funk. For those of you who can you turn your camera sideways so we get the most of your beautifulness? And there's an option within Zoom to give you the widest lens if you hit your video options. And then that way everybody is spaced equally. It's not the end of the day if you can't, but if you can, you know, my OCD. We talked about my spice cabinet last time and my OCD. My outfits. I see I'm already feeling better already with Keon turning his sideways. Oh my goodness. So yeah, if you guys can do that, that's awesome. I am so excited, by the way, that this is the panel that I have. I promise you, it's like God knows each week who I need, because this is going to be a very, oh, beautiful, Lashante. This is going to be like, woo, this is going to be good. Between Lashante and Monica, I really think that we need the demeanor of Keon and Doug, because I don't know that another panel of guys could really handle what we're about to get into tonight. So anyway, guys, I just had to do that little teaser, and I'll bring you guys back on in just 1 second, okay? Oh Lord, oh Lord. All right, so we are going to cover some stuff that happened this week. We had some craziness that happened this week, and I want to get you guys' your inputs. Did I even? You guys, I didn't even go through my little. Okay, if you're just now watching, go ahead and drop your city and state. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like it, comment up a storm, share it with people, let them know. Look, we are going to talk about sex. We are going to get into it. We are going to really, hopefully, renew some relationships in this episode, because we are going to unpack. And this one is going to be really crucial for you guys to contribute, because we're going to be sharing from our perspective, which is just 5 people. We're going to need you guys to weigh in, those of you watching live, and get your take on everything, okay? And last but not least, if you guys have not joined my Sunshine Club, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it later on. And I cannot do an episode without shouting out my patrons. Literally, I have a group of people who believe in me so much that they subscribe to my Patreon account every single month, starting as low as $5. And those who have pledged $9.99 a month get access into my Sunshine Club. But I want to say shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are literally the day ones who make this possible. So I really appreciate it. Obviously, I love making content, but a sister's got to eat. So shout out to you guys. My dinner today was purchased by the Patreon, the Patreon crew. So thank you, thank you. I cannot stress that enough. And if anyone lays it on your heart to go ahead and join, feel free. All right, guys. So now that we got all my business out of the way, we can get into these hot topics. What the hell was happening in the Capitol? I would say, ciao. I don't even know if we can even discuss it. I think we should just have faces like, because it was some foolishness. Like, it was some foolishness. And of course, the obvious thing that I'm gonna say is that sorry, this is bugging me. The obvious thing that I'm gonna say is that we all saw how easy it is for people to be arrested peacefully, those who even were arrested. And it's just, there was this video on what is that, TikTok, and I was literally crying yesterday. But it's this video where this woman, I should have played it, but it's a little long, but she showed the now famous Elizabeth from Knoxville, and she was saying what you don't do when you commit what is it, treason. You don't give your name, you don't show your face in camera, you don't tell where you live, and admit to the crime on camera. Like, she was just like, this is who you don't want to have commit crimes with you. She's like, because if you have black people who are committing crimes and there's a camera in their face, the first thing is like, get this thing out of my face.
We know better.
Know better.
We just know better.
But that's the audacity, because she didn't feel like she was committing a crime. Nobody would say their name and where they're from if they were committing a crime, but she wasn't committing a crime. She was there for the revolution.
And it was televised. Okay. It was televised.
Yeah. Let's get that together. She was there for the revolution, okay? It's a revolution. She said it with her chest.
She did. She said it with her onion. She said,
exactly.
Look, people kept talking about the onion. I'm like, is that really an onion? I cannot. Was that to get her tears to come out more?
Mm-hmm. Attention-seeking behavior.
She had an onion?
She literally had an onion in her towel. And then she was rubbing it on camera. So when she rubbed her eyes, you could see the onion rubbing onto her eye. Yeah, so she...
Now I need to go back and watch it.
So she could look maced.
I'm going to have to
I need to watch it.
And this is the thing. This is the part that's so crazy. So I'm an empath, right? And so I can't turn it off and on. If somebody is crying, it literally makes me cry. And I always know when someone's faking it, because when someone fakes it, I literally feel nothing. Like, I'm watching you, I'm seeing crocodile tears, and you're emoting nothing. And it makes me like, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now just describing it. It is such an awkward feeling as an empath, watching someone who you know is literally faking tears. And it's cringe. It's so cringy to watch. It's just uncomfortable to view. But yeah, so she did that. There was another guy, a CEO, and I was rushing today, so I didn't write his information down, but he was a CEO in Illinois of like a really big either PR or marketing firm. And the weak apology that he gave, the statement, because his company was saying that, we don't know if he's coming back, we have to review everything, blah, 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 blah. So he releases a statement saying he's so ashamed, which I always say, are you ashamed now because you were caught, or are you ashamed because of your behavior and you would have done this anyway? But he said he was ashamed. And then he said, I broke down his video. He kept pushing blame away from himself. He was like, I just followed hundreds of people. So he wanted to make it seem like I wasn't the only one. There were so many people there. Then he said, I just followed, like, we always make a joke about if we hear a gunshot, black folks run this way and then white folks run towards it. So he's like, that was his excuse. Well, hundreds of people who came here for an exact reason, they just ran in a direction and I just followed to see what was happening. That was number 2, offensiveness on his apology. And then 3 was like, I just really regret it. I just really regret it. And it's like, you guys, you knew what you were doing. Like, you don't even go into a museum and bum rush, like, past the little stanchions, like, where you're not supposed to be. So I don't buy that whole, like, we got caught up mob mentality. Like,
no, you knew what you were doing. Exactly. You knew what you were doing. You went there for a purpose. You went in and did all that. and now there's some of y'all getting some repercussions. Now you're sorry after the fact.
Look,
You already know,
Because they lose the money now.
what would happen if we went there and did that. We already know how that would have went down.
here's the thing. Some people said it wouldn't even gotten to the point where we got there. We couldn't have even assembled because most of you know I tried promoting this live stream on Facebook, right? And because of the verbiage, I said we're going to be discussing sex, whatever. They took that to mean, because they give you a little notice of why you're put in jail, but they threw me in the clinker because they said you are soliciting, like, you know, those hotlines or whatever, like, let's talk about, like, let's be sexual together, like that. And I was like, yeah, that's not what I'm doing. But my friend said the fact that Yonci got thrown into Facebook jail for the appearance of maybe doing something, you know, titillating, but yet an entire group of people could organize across the nation and come together at this one time, and it didn't catch anyone's attention as much as Big Brother listens in.
On social media. They were making posts. They were doing it on social media.
Right.
Zuckerberg, I have questions.
But like they say, different strokes for different folks, and depending on what color of the spectrum you fall on, you know, I mean, we're raised differently to see the world one way. We're raised to view it one way versus the more paler side. They see it as,
don't look at me. I'm just like
I don't want to just say white people, because it's not just white people, because there's some ignorant, you know what I mean? Like they say, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You know, there's some other people they view the world differently.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. We got to see firsthand what privilege looks like.
And you said they did this on social media. That just makes it
Yeah,
worse.
they're posting different things about how they were gathering. There's no way thousands of people came to know to meet at the exact same day, at the exact same time, wearing the exact same outfits. This was definitely something, and I don't care what anybody says. The Capitol,
knew to bring onions.
in the Capitol knew what was going on. They were part of it, because these people went through the windows, through the back doors, through the side doors. They was climbing walls, but they represented the movement. Right, they were climbing the wall.
Did y'all see the Mario Brothers sound effect though?
Yeah, that was outstanding.
That took me out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was completely, because I remember when we had the Black Lives Matters marching for Breonna Taylor, for George Floyd, for all the injustices that happened. And they had the military lined up at Lincoln Memorial.
Right.
But you mean to tell me that they didn't have, and I remember CNN was reporting, there was a guy who said that the police was not equipped. They did not expect for it to go that way. But in the police academy, don't y'all teach these people how to deal with any type of situation? How are you not? They said they misjudged their audience.
Wow.
You misjudged them?
The problem was that the organizer, Donald Trump, was the one that got it together. That's why
he put it on Twitter that they should come on that specific date too.
But you know what? Twitter banned his account 12 hours too late. They should have banned his account.
They did it 4 years too late. He should have been
4 years too late. He should have been there. You should have been there.
6 months in,
they should have cut it off.
But see, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because I use social media for a living, and I feel like when you start getting into censorship, it starts to become, you know, an issue. And so even though a lot of people would agree and say, okay, he needs to go, he needs to be off social media, to me, it's kind of scary, the idea that the powers that be can just decide who to shut down. For me, I put more onus on the police, you know, not the people who are gathering, but the, you know, who are gathering people together, but the people who are there that are supposed to protect. I remember somebody talking about, it was on one of the Real Housewives. So Portia was part of an organization that was doing one of the Black Lives protests, Black Lives Matter protests. And she said they literally had to keep the route top secret because the police were that onto them that they would know, like it kept getting out. And this was just the not parade, but the protest route. So the final meeting place, they had to keep within themselves and then just verbally say it at the end, like, okay, we're going here. So just to your point, like, if they could be on that for just a protest in a random city, but yet it doesn't cause alarm that this is the Capitol building, it's mind-blowing. Anyway, I don't want to just, beat a dead horse, but I could not have that be in the topics. All right, well, let's get into something a little bit more fun. I haven't seen this, but this is on my list of things to watch. I don't watch a lot of TV, so if there's something, especially a Black movie, I'm going to support it. Have you guys seen that preview or even seen the movie Fatale with Michael Ealy? Have any of you guys watched that yet?
No.
Have you guys even heard of it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be on my list. That's my little treat. Once a week, maybe I'll watch something. Because I love what I do. So I'm always working, but it's fun every now and then to check something out. All right, you guys. So our subject tonight, we are talking about sex. And so I want to get into the pop question of the night. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Have you ever faked it? We're going to go. Wait, Keo, did you say yes?
Yeah.
He said it really fast.
Yep.
Really quick.
He said it really fast.
Yeah.
He said, yep.
Right.
Very quick.
Sure did.
He said it really fast.
Okay, so Keon, you have to, because we obviously, most people think of women faking it more than they think of men faking it. So help our viewers understand a scenario in which a man is faking it. Like, is it just that bad that he just wants to get out and like, let me be?
Absolutely. I mean, you can find yourself taking one for the team. You shouldn't be there in the first place. But, you get yourself kind of backed into a wall and you can't be a sucker about it. So take one for the team, deal with it.
You got to explain, sir.
Right, what do you mean take one for the team and be backed up against the wall? What does that mean?
Oh, I wasn't going to touch that part.
How did you get backed against the wall?
Really?
Why you say
we were not going to not walk through that
gosh.
barn door, Keon. You busted
all right,
that.
cool. So, Bet, I'm gonna tell you. So, number one, I met this person on social media, right? And this person ended up, the persistence, like, I want to hang out. And I'm like, man, I really don't like people in my house. But, you know what? For the sake of it, she came by. Was totally like not what the situation looked like on social
So you
media.
got catfished.
Whatever, catfish, perch, redfish, flounder, I don't know, whatever it is. But she didn't have no business being at my house. And one thing is kind of, and I don't want to, I can be I can be a butthole, okay? But
Not you, sweet Keon.
Huh?
Not you, sweet Keon.
Okay. But I didn't want to crush this person like that. And it was like, just go and take one for the team,
so you
man.
just crushed your organs instead.
Right.
Well, but I mean, but even it was.
You like her enough.
It took some big time concentration, but hey, we got through it.
Now, this is my question for you. So when a guy, is having a hard time being stimulated, is it mostly mental, meaning like I'm just not attracted to her, or is it okay? So break it down physically.
It's visual. I mean, so
no, that's what I'm saying. Mentally, like I'm not attracted to her, meaning like it's because of what you're seeing. Your brain is going, I'm not attracted to her, so I can't function.
But yeah, you just got to find something. I mean, that's terrible. God, I'm a bad guy. But you got to find something. It's got to be one thing. Just go with that.
No, I had a friend who was gay, and he literally said that he could perform if he imagined he was with a man, because he was gay, but he was undercover, he hadn't come out yet. So your mind is a powerful thing. If you can go somewhere else, which to me is kind of scary if someone's like closing their eyes a lot, because you're like, I'm gonna need you to connect here. But what's the other thing? So the guys in the group were saying that there's also an issue if a woman isn't lubricated. Now, does that affect your ability to complete the mission?
Yep.
Okay.
All that. I mean,
Okay,
all
wait, I
that.
have a question.
We have questions. We have questions, gentlemen.
If a guy is wearing a rubber, how do you feel if she's lubricated?
Oh, you can tell. Trust me, you can tell because that thing will break on you. That thing will break on you.
Is it like trying to put on jeans when you're wet? Okay.
Hey, your Beyonce said if you ain't never jumped and put no jeans on, you don't know about pain. I'm just saying, if you don't know that, that's
Yeah, but she was talking about ass.
I understand, but that situation ain't cool.
Man, we these comments are blowing up, you guys.
I didn't know that.
Hey, man, look.
Y'all, Chavez is in the house. Give a special shout out for our brother Chavez. Chavez, what's up? I tried to talk him into coming on tonight because he could really talk about some emotional intelligence when it comes to intimacy. So I hope you chime in on the comments, Chavez. Walter says, excuse me. Oh, he was talking about the storm in the Capitol. So I'm gonna move on before I get triggered. Okay. Gator says, hell yeah. Chavez says, men fake it. Yeah, we do. He said, I've been a sucker for the team, brother, for the team.
For the team.
He said, team, no, taking one for the team. And then he said, no, it could just be just to get marks on his belt. Oh, snap. No. Brizzle said, what's up, panel? Hey, Brizzle. I love my regulars here. Chavez says, I can hop on now. And then Brizzle says, Texas represent. Chavez, let me know if you have the old info because it's probably the same as the last login. So just go ahead and jump on. Let me know if you don't have the old login. But I don't think I've changed it since the last time you joined the broadcast. But make sure you do the one that was for Sunday and not for the group chat. Okay, so anyway, all right. So Keon answered. And you guys, you can always plead the fifth, okay? So not to put anyone on the spot. Doug, what is yours? Have you ever had to fake the funk?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so mad. Y'all making me laugh, making my nose run. Good Lord.
I know. What is going on?
Yeah, it's like Keon was saying, sometimes, you it ain't just getting good. You're like, okay, I'm tired of this. Let me go ahead and just fake it.
Make it stop, Jesus. So the good wasn't good.
Yeah. Be like, okay, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe, ladies, maybe there's a silver lining. Maybe if you have sex really bad, it'll make the guy last really, really long and save your little good tricks for the end. So
or maybe, right, and then he'll just never call you ever.
Mason!
I can't. All right, so Monica, have you ever faked?
Okay, I've faked an orgasm, but I've never faked coming.
Okay.
It's a difference, fellas.
What's the difference?
There's a difference. An orgasm and busting a nut is completely different.
I would say that the latter has evidence.
I'm gonna need an explanation, ma'am.
I wasn't gonna ask.
A little bit more information.
So sometimes when you're having sex and you get it and he just does one thing really good and it's like, okay, you feel that release, right? You come, it feels good. But then when you really get it and you're mentally in tune with him, emotionally collected with him, and he just doing his thing and you doing your thing, and then you feel it in your entire body. From like tip of your head to the bottom of your toes. And sometimes it just... So
maybe if I could paraphrase, I think it's what you're saying is you have faked being aroused, but you haven't faked the actual climax itself.
Correct.
Okay, I can get with that. The ooh, ahs, and really it's like...
Right. Right.
And LaShante, I don't know if you can come closer to your mic, but you sound so far away, my love.
Is this better?
Oh, that is way better. Mm-hmm. The volume is better. Okay.
I was trying not to have to hold this phone, but I see this is where it is.
We wanted to see your pores, ma'am. We need you to get all up in the camera. I want to be able to see your cuticles.
Get into this quarantine skin, baby.
Yes, girl. Yes. Okay, LaShante, have you ever protected his ego and faked the funk?
No, I haven't.
I was gonna say I really expected nothing less from you.
I mean, and Keon was saying that he's an asshole, but I think that makes him a good person. I'm an asshole.
It's for the next person. The next person. Each one teach one.
Asshole. I'm not protecting feelings out here. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. That is the issue right there. Y'all protect the feelings. These people need information. They need knowledge. They need
each one teach one.
Yes. Let's get this education popping, and then they may be better going forward.
Lashante.
But no, absolutely not.
All these men
out here, we grown.
All these men out here, Lashante.
Get off me.
You know I do posts right in the group where, for those of you listening, we have a group of friends and we all chit chat, in our little Facebook group. But we do posts all the time, right? I kid you not, every time anything has to do with a woman's arousal, every dude is a killer lover. Every dude is like, I satisfy every woman I'm with, every dude. And I'm like, first of all, there is no way in hell this many people are excellent lovers. And second of all, if you really believe that, it's our fault because we as women are faking it with y'all. And we are making it seem like y'all are just Tarzan and King of the Jungle. And the reality is she cannot wait for the guy to leave so she can and get it done.
Exactly.
Don't call your girlfriend. Because I be quick to call my homegirl to be like, girl.
Right.
I done did all of this. I done did this, that, and the third. And
reclaim your time. Reclaim your time, queen.
Yes,
reclaiming
my time. So,
right.
Well, I'm not just me. I just, I want an education. I want him to know that that's probably not. Who told you that was okay? I just want to talk it through. Like, let us have a conversation. We're adults. No, y'all see, we grown. And at some point in life, someone said, "This is not okay, sir. This is not okay."
But it might work for the last girl.
Nobody likes that. Nobody.
Okay.
The last girl might have liked, some people like certain things, and it might have worked for the last girl, so he figured it worked for the next one.
That's why conversations are important.
Okay.
I think it is. That's what I'm saying. I think that we should talk it through. I don't think feelings should get hurt. Like, I think that we should just have a conversation. So what I try to do is talk about what I like. So I'm very specific and say, these are the things that I like. This is what's going to get me there. Because I'm not having sex with you just so you can feel better about yourself. That is not what we doing in these streets. And all these women on this thing saying that we don't have orgasms. They're like, we don't have orgasms. Yonci put a post out there and they were asking how many women come from penetration, and the majority was like, no. And I'm like, what in the hell?
Oh, and we are going to unpack that tonight. When I say we are going to unpack that, we're going to take the bubble wrap out. We're going to take the tape off. When I say we are going to get to the bottom of that. And it's so funny because the other thing I have to say to people watching, those of you who are having casual sex, or, you're having sex with whoever you're dating, you cannot shame or belittle the information, because what tickles one person's fancy might not tickle the other. And what is so annoying is somebody who thinks that they are a know-it-all, because it is a team sport. Okay, well, I guess some people it's not, but it's a team effort. And just like Lashante said, what works for one doesn't work for another. And I just really need to press that home, that people need to have an attitude of being open-minded with each new partner, because yes, there are some things that are universal truths, like yes, it does go in the hole, that's pretty much the extent of it, everything else is pretty much up to that person and what they like. Chavez, I gotta put you on the spot and then I'm gonna get to these comments. Have you ever faked it? And you guys watching, let me know if you have ever faked it. I will get to those comments after Chavez.
No.
Fantastic. And you know what? I was going to say this. I really want to be at the place, where Lashante is, where I am just authentic in every aspect of my life and being okay with the end result. And so for me, if I'm with a partner that I don't feel comfortable enough to be honest with, this is my truth right now. This is not condemning anyone else. But to me, that's a little check for me. Because if I'm with somebody that I'm not comfortable enough talking to, then Yonci probably shouldn't be with that person. And I'm just going to go ahead and set that, piping hot cut down and move on. So
real quick.
So for me, it's always been.
Hey, Shabazz.
I see you smiling. Leave me alone.
Whenever I see that picture behind you, I get a flashback. Exactly. I wasn't gonna say it, but I had a flashback when I saw that photo in the background.
Shabazz, you know it's all love over here.
Sorry, you guys. Inside joke. I'm sorry.
Yo, listen. That was one of my best nights. I woke up that next morning. That next day I was hurting, but it was a great night.
You want to spill the tea since you said so much? I was gonna say it was an inside joke.
Yo, so anyway, we were celebrating we were celebrating Mike Rhodes ended up saying that we should celebrate who bought a house? Who bought a house?
Latera.
So
we have group chats, you guys. We have group chats in our little friend group. Okay.
So Mike said, "Yo, let's take some shots," right? So I ended up,
and I'm off in a phone call, so I missed it all. Damn.
So I typically drink Macallan, but I didn't have no Macallan, so I grabbed the Bullet, right? I grabbed the Bullet, bourbon, and I ended up getting a double shot glass. So instead of doing a shot, I ended up doing a double shot. But yo, we were kicking it, so I kept pouring and taking shots. What I didn't realize is I had taken like 6 or 8 double shots.
Like, yes, because he was pouring that glass to the top.
I kept pouring, and I just kept sipping. And before I knew it,
he was sipping and slipping.
I was sliding out the chair onto the floor. look.
His church finger up.
Real talk. I don't even remember doing that.
But wait, Shabazz, they said that they asked you if you were okay, and all they got was this. The church finger. They got the church. And do you guys know
all body had disappeared from view. And we were like, are you okay? Because it had been a minute. It like 5 minutes had passed. We were like, hey, sir, are you okay? Do we need to call the 911?
And it just looked like the picture behind you was just looking down at you in shame. But here's the funny thing. All my recordings, all my video chats are recorded because a lot of times I'll use them for content or whatever. It's just automatically set that way. So it just happened to be that it records the friend chats too. Out of all the weeks, for whatever mysterious reason, that one did not record because Shabazz and I want to have a good laugh and go back and watch it. But that one, he got spared. The universe was like, not today.
So here's the thing. I unfortunately, to my brother Keon and to my brother Doug, I'm that cat that the homies hated because I never took one for the team.
You just walk away.
That was not my demo. I'm like, look, to the homies, I would never put the homies in a situation where they had to take one for the team. So I never. The homies used to hate me for that. But at the same time, I never engaged with someone that I wasn't really attracted to.
Right, I got you.
So I've never had to fake it.
Got it. Now, Keon.
Well, that's part of my.
No, go ahead.
That's part of my testimony then. I mean, I ain't got caught out too many doggone times. Well, no, let me not say that. It hadn't been too many times. But, it's probably only been 1 or 2, but just, you know.
Yeah, moment of silence. And Keon, by the way, the light is making you silhouette, so it's hard to see you. I'm terrible with broadcasting. Okay, there we go, cool. Perfect. There we go. We don't want to miss out on any of this melanin greatness. Okay, So, all right, guys. So let's get into. We're gonna get into our chat here. I don't know why this is giving me. I'm having a little bit of a technical glitch. So just hang on 1 second. We're just gonna stall. Anyone want to sing? Go ahead and do that. Any freestyle rapping?
That ain't part of my ministry right there.
I don't know why I'm having
I wouldn't even do that to y'all.
My numbers just start dropping.
I wouldn't even sing or try to rap.
Hilarious. Okay, I don't know why this is Come on, tech. Let me think.
So what is it, like 10 more days till Trump is out?
Is it that it?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 10. It's 10.
Next Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday.
Right. I think those people are coming back to the Capitol for the inauguration.
Big time. The crazy thing about it is they just don't. I mean, it's all crazy because at the end of the day, we know some of them are police officers and we know some of them are military. So,
Well, that's why they were let in so easily, and that's why they gave that whole excuse talking about they were unprepared. We know that the KKK and all of these people have infiltrated the police
they haven't even infiltrated. Those institutions were formed when white supremacy
I
was
love it. He said they didn't have to infiltrate. They're already there.
Yeah, he was like, no, that's how it began. I'm with you on that one. From the patty rollers.
From the beginning.
I'm from the South. I
ain't
never met a police officer I can trust. Never.
But it's jacked up because there are a lot of good police officers. The unfortunate thing is they don't really say, and it's hard to say much because I used to work law enforcement. When you get that scarlet letter on your back, when officers start feeling like you're not going to be a part of the narrative, then it's like they kind of shun you a little bit. And it could be dangerous for you too because,
they could not protect you out there.
They'll put you out there. Stuff pop off, they won't have your back. You got to watch your back because you don't know, they may come for you. It's crazy.
And I've heard every Black police officer I've ever met has said the same thing. And they tell them that you're no longer Black, you're blue. And in order for me to trust you and to protect you out here, you need to be on my side.
You got to do something stupid.
Yeah. And that ain't how, well, some people do, but that ain't how it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we blue, then that means I need you to come my way then, too.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much for the stalling. You guys are awesome. I don't know why, but my whole screen was just blank on the other one, so I had to do some transitioning over there. My apologies. All right, so let's get back into it here. Oh, and I meant to get into the comments, too. Oh. Okay, I don't know if I can read read some of these. So it says, it sucks that people fake it though with a condom on. Yes, it can still happen. He said, Anthony says, Mr. Galbraith, our buddy, he said, I almost crashed my car. He said, fake it to make it. Sometimes you just get tired of stoking and poking.
I love it.
I am weak. I am so weak.
Anthony is crazy. Anthony is crazy.
He is.
Should have known.
Oh, shout out to the homie. Oh my God. Oh, I can't read that one. Can't read that one either. Okay, you guys, y'all can read it. Look, I am not trying to get banned on YouTube.
Did you see her face though? She was like,
oh, I wasn't old enough for some of these comments. Okay, there are actual physical signs of orgasm for both sexes. Everyone has their tell, and an attentive partner in a LTR, loving tender relationship.
Long-term relationship.
Oh, I was like loving tender relationship.
Bless your heart.
oh my God.
So, you know,
I just read the comments.
I was like, we're not reading that. I mean, this isn't for children, but this is certainly not X-rated either. Okay. Woo! Okay, get it together. If you have an intended partner in a loving, tender relationship, they can often get a feel for what it is. Gator says, I had to fake it before she sucked in bed, and it was her first time with me. Yikes. He said, you queens do the same thing. Women aren't particularly adept at communicating what they like or what pleases them. And I want to get into that too. Okay. He said, conversation. Yo, sex sucks. Get off of me. Oh, he said, that's the conversation. Your sex sucks. Get off of me.
Yeah, that's mean.
Oh my God. Brizzle says, I agree with Yonci on the open communication thing. He said, the stream is freezing and buffering a bit. Had to shut it off, but it's glitching. Bummer. Let me know if it's glitching still. He said one time she came and got hella dry, so I faked it. Oh, Jay, what's up, Jay? That's the homie Jay. Gator says, oh my God, Yonci. Okay, woo! All right, guys, so let's get into the next topic. So this next topic is basically whose job is her O. But I want to ask specifically at the beginning. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's be realistic, okay? In a normal situation, not like a LTR, but a long-term relationship, but in most sexual escapades, what percentage do we think of guys really care about her pleasure. Let's be really, really honest, okay? What percentage of men do you think is going into the sexual experience going, God, I really hope that I could just blow her mind? LaShante's answering with her laughing. I cannot.
I don't know about blowing my
I think that
laugh.
percentage is very low.
You think so? I don't know. I want to give some of my guys some credit now.
I think it depends on if he cares about her. If it's just some like
Keon, he just met her in the club. You think he's trying to blow her back out?
Yeah.
Well,
if it's if it's a one night type situation, then I'm sure it's a no for them. But if it is an LTR, loving tender,
loving and tender,
and I'm saying that from now on, okay? Loving, tender,
it is loving and tender.
Then yes, I think that number is high for the men that are.
But I've never been that lucky. I ain't let no sense me lying. I have never just met a person like right now, and then like later on the day or whatever the case is, we getting our swerve on. I've never.
Well, what about your precious catfish?
Yeah, but see, that was some long. That was like a couple of weeks because I'm not finna.
Dr. Evil.
Yeah, you're not. I'm not finna meet you today. I mean, I met you up at my house because then you could be psycho. You got my address and your stuff. Come over here.
Yeah.
Now that's something else. But that was kind of that was 2-3 weeks that we've been conversing back and forth.
There was some buildup.
Well. From somebody's end, not mine.
He said, wasn't no build-up.
That's mine.
He said that's the problem. There was no build-up.
He said there's no build-up.
Nothing to release.
A bunch of filters. It was a bunch of filters.
Look, so here's the reason why I asked this, okay? And even in relationships, I used to wonder because I waited a really long time to have sex because of my upbringing, my faith, and I wanted to wait until I was married because that's how I was raised and that's what I believed was the right thing to do. But a lot of my friends were getting married before me because, as a Christian, like if you're in your 20s, you're like an old maid because everyone's getting married at 18, 19 because they just try not to sin. So I'm hearing my friends complain about sex, like complain. And I finally figured out what it was because I'm like, why are all these women complaining about sex? It just seems like something everybody wants to do. The reason was because the women felt like a semen catcher. Like they didn't feel like a partner who was getting made love to. They were just an object to receive. I know. I saw.
But you know what it is? What it is like...
No 4-letter words on YouTube. We are trying to get monetized.
Her face was like...
Y'all don't make me cry on my makeup.
Her face was like... Oh my God, I'm sorry. Look, I need to put some more in this cup.
She had to turn away. She's like, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. But a lot of women just feel like they're there for the man's release. Like he literally may as well just be masturbating because it's like having a real life blow up doll. He's not tending to her. He's not stimulating her mentally. He's just getting to no foreplay. That's what I hear most women complain about. And that's why I say, I want to know what the percentage of men are going in it going, I want to please my woman. Or are they going in there saying, I need to get off and therefore this is what we do to get off?
The younger you are, the more it is about just getting off because you have to realize, as boys, we become horn dogs pre-teen, right? And then what ends up happening is through, of course, our first introduction to sex is typically porn or some nudie magazine, or for the unfortunate ones of us who end up walking in or hearing our parents.
Chavez, you so dated yourself, my friend, by saying nudie magazine. I just had to call you out on that.
Yeah, you did. You did tell your age on that.
I got that from Al Bundy.
There's some teenagers who are like, nudie magazine?
At the nudie bar, yeah.
At the nudie bar.
The Sears magazine in the lingerie section.
Yes, Sears, JCPenney.
The Sears magazine.
Montgomery Ward. Yep, you used to look at those two.
Yep. You gotta get what you can get.
Hey. You know.
Victoria's Secret magazines too.
Look, you fancy. You fancy. Most moms didn't have the lingerie. You know, she just had the JCPenney's.
Yep, that big magazine, that big catalog came,
and you had to find that section. No housewares. No housewares. I want hosiery. I can't.
You looking at the index, trying to find it. Bras, panties. Okay, cool.
And it's the ugly nude one that's like the mom underwear is not even sexy, but you're like, this'll work. Okay. Slips. Yeah. Okay, there's a slit in it. I'll take a slip. Okay, cool.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like Method Man said, that's all I need. That's all I need. So when we young like that, it's literally like even if when you introduce to porn, you don't see them pleasuring the woman. No. Like at the end of the day, you think it's all about the release because
that's a good point. That's a very good point. In every last
porno, that's when that scene ends.
That's a good point.
That's a really good point. And they also are not showing him making love to her mind, giving her the flowers beforehand and calling her and letting her know she's coming over. He comes in that door, that plumber comes in the door with his plunger and he's ready to go to work. Okay.
And just lays pipe.
He's ready to give her an LTR. LD, loving 10 LTR. A long, tender romance. I'm just kidding.
LD, the long.
Yeah. Long distance. Okay.
Right, the long D.
The buddy. Yes, the buddy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just like they were saying, that's our introduction. A lot of boys thought about sex and all those things. So it's when you get like older and things and get life like, oh, okay, hey, I need to think about these things, having those discussions with your partner about what do you like, what do you not like, and those things. Think about, okay, well, I want to make sure that she is pleasured in this as well, not just think about myself. That takes time and maturity.
In life too, just not be selfish in life. And I think this is good because, I can't control really who watches the videos, but if there are younger men out there, late teens, early 20s, and you guys are exploring, level up. Like, because a lot of times these conversations they're having with their peers, and their peers are in the same boat as them. So, a lot of people are not going to their uncles or the older men in their circle and going, hey, teach me not just the birds and the bees. They think they know it all because they've seen porn, but they don't understand the psychological, which that's going to come in later in this conversation, the psychological aspects. The Brizzle said, might be a generational thing. Millennials and later have quite a bit of first date sex. Yeah, it's shocking to me. Like, I'll see it on shows, like TV shows, where the people will meet and that same day hook up. And I'm like, not only are you hooking up the same day, but you're doing it on national television, and it's not anything, to be ashamed of. It's wild. Different strokes, I guess, pun intended.
Different strokes, different folks.
I'm saying. So Anthony says that he cares about the woman's pleasure because he wants the call back.
Right.
He said, how much, I don't want to say that word on YouTube, do y'all need to feel loved? Kings, it's equal goals, so I would say 50-50 for both of them. Most women have sex with boys that have porn star educations. All they want is, not going to read that one online. Okay. All righty then. Threw me all the way off for my question. All right, so this is for the ladies. My first question is for the ladies, and then I'm going to ask the guys. What is the biggest misconception when it comes to a woman's body? And of course, this is going to be different for each woman, but as much as you can, try to stick to universal things. But what are some of the things that you would say, at least you've heard, or maybe you've experienced, but it's like stuff where it's like, no, sir. But they just think that they are, they are doing it. They are bringing the fire. And men, get ready because your question is next.
Yonci's a whole man.
I'm gonna let you go first.
She gonna pass that baton.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
How do I say this?
You know what? I'm gonna get some water at this interjecture. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna have to get me something to drink.
Right.
How do I want to say it? I guess pound.
That's to say it. Just say it.
Like
Say it.
pound, like you don't.
Sounds like.
Right.
Jackrabbit.
Oh.
That and like the
slow and steady wins the race.
sometimes. Okay, so with me, it's a time and a place. Like you can't just. And I hate, the first time you have sex with a guy, he doesn't know your body. He don't know he don't know your curve. He don't know your body. So I hate when guys just like trying to shove it in. Like, whoa, hold up.
Wait a minute.
You're not even, wait. And then just start just trying to, like, that's not, no, stop, back it up. That hurts.
Because most of the time, a woman's body needs to be warmed up, and like you said, there's a time and a place. So when you're at NASCAR, then racing is fine. But if you're just taking a little walk around the park, nobody's trying to go 80 miles per hour. Like,
But a couple of guys said something about lubrication and the woman being stimulated too, and I'm like, well, was there anything done beforehand to help her get to where
because she doesn't walk around just dripping,
leaking?
That would just be inconvenient if that was the case. There is a connection
It would
between.
be hella inconvenient. Hella inconvenient.
So there needs to be something that gets her to be ready.
Right.
And it would be the same thing as a man being completely limp. And then she's like, let's go. And try to have, like, you need to be ready.
It don't work like that.
Right. You need to be ready.
And so I just feel like, certain things, you just can't just go in there and just go to Pound Town and just try to no. Like, that I think is one big thing that
Brizzle says the best advice I heard from a woman is when she said, I like it to be like a massage on the inside. John's like, shout out to John Singletary. Okay, you guys, I'm seeing all kind of friends.
I love John. Hey, John.
John is the man. John is like the gift that keeps on giving. John is the meme king. He might have come for the first place spot. Okay, you guys, we do a lot of stuff in our little friend group, but we have our Wednesday Hump Day Funnies, and people save up their memes. And when I tell you, John comes through. Like, do not read this thread when you are supposed to be quiet. Do not read it at church. Do not read it in the library. Do not read it, like, it's just not kids sleeping nearby. He comes through. And we had a leader of the memes, but John might have come for his spot.
Yes,
he
did.
Amazing guy and hella funny. His wit is on point. James says, and James, shout out to James, that's another friend. He says, wait a minute, if you're walking around talking all the mess before sex, then we ain't starting slow. But there's a difference between having a fun conversation and then actually getting in there and starting the engine. To me, it's like walking up to the car versus actually turning it on. So
especially if you have walls.
The car with no oil in it.
She said, especially if you have
if you have walls. Just saying.
You said if she has,
especially if you have walls. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm
intact.
Like, I feel like that may be a problem out here in these streets. They just throwing hot dogs down hallways.
Diving in there. Like, no.
She said hot dogs down hallways.
I do. Because I have had to say, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Everything that's supposed to be there is still there. Okay? I just need to take your time.
I would would say probably the biggest misconception for men is that, unlike a porno, it's not all about how many angles can we fit into the scene.
Right. Because I'm sorry, I don't bend like that.
Well, my thing is that, like, if you, but let's really talk about this, okay?
Right, Keon, tell the straight.
I do, but not for long. I do, but not for long.
But not every time.
But what I'm saying,
I'm not bending like that.
What I'm saying is that, okay, so in you know, the adult films, it's this position. It's not a competition to see how many positions you can fit into one session. It's about finding the position that maximizes her pleasure. And if you think about a woman pleasing herself, right, she is slow and steady wins the race. She is staying in one place until the job is done. She's not in here. She is steady.
That's not real life.
So when guys think that they have to do, you might have been making her feel good when you were here, but now you done flipped around. Now we got to start all over again. And it's like a well, like you're pumping this well, and the pressure is building up, and the water is about to explode, and you get all the way to the top where it's about to come out the nozzle, and we switched over here to this pump. Like, my God. That's what I would say, along with thinking that what works for one works for the other. We are all different creatures, and we're probably not all going to agree.
That's where that communication has to come in. It has to be something that's said with the people. Like us, like, you know, we're not talking about one night stands. We're talking about the LTRs. And if we're having a conversation, we should be having a conversation before this happens. We should talk it through.
Yeah.
Everybody is different. So we need to talk about what takes us to where we need to be and what is going to get us there. And I feel like women don't have that conversation with men. Nope. And then you have men out here watching way too much pornography, and then they out here doing all of this slamming and bamming, and they don't care about if you get there, because the woman in the video got there. So what's wrong with you?
And she got paid.
And we had a whole thread in the group about men basically saying women are responsible for their own orgasms. Look. And then they said, but using a toy too much is going to
wait. Don't get in my notes, girl. Don't get in my notes. We about to bust that. We about to bust that one wide open.
Sorry.
I have to deal with Darren. If Darren, let me know if this is Darren from the group. Okay, if it's one of our friends, Darren, let me know. Hey, friend. Darren said, Yonci watches adult films, sir. I am a public speaker, and I am not going to speak on things without doing my due diligence and my research. And so I need to make sure that I am bringing the cold, hard facts.
Yes, boo.
Yes. And I need you to respect my work ethic, okay? So over here in the little comments, acting up. All right. Anthony, wait, that's a problem. Queens don't want to tell the kings what they want. That's in my notes too. We're not going to get ahead of my notes. And Anthony says, now if a man is honest about his body, he knows he has a time limit as to how long he can keep his blood in that part of the anatomy. And isn't that the irony? Like, I feel like God has a sense of humor. A man can only stay in one position so long, and the woman needs him to stay in a position for a long time. He says, the problem is while we are pressing against our genes, we have to, I don't know where that went. Darren's laughing. He said, in actuality, as men, we're only staying in one place for one place or position for ourselves. We found our spot, our strokes, our pace, our pressure, efficiently so, and in 2 minutes, boom, goes the dynamite. All right, so let's get into the guys. Let's get to the lower panel of the video here. Guys, what would you say is the biggest misconception about men? This is for women watching the video who think they are doing it, and their king does not have the heart to tell her, hunty, that is not it. So let us know what you would like to share. And again, take it with a grain of salt. It might work for your boo, but most guys know.
I'll go. I think one, to have that conversation, because some things that they think that guys don't like. For example, I asked somebody to say ask me about anal stimulation. I told them right off the bat, no.
Miss me with that.
No. And then they try to whisper no, it's pretty good. I said,
You're not buying that subscription?
I said, I don't care what the, now, you see the way, I ain't down with that.
You could be missing your blessing, man. Missing your blessing.
They said that's your thing. Like, y'all really will get a good milk.
I said, hey, that's fine. That might work for somebody else. I told them, do not ever try that with me, ever.
Come back with a finger missing. She poking that wrong hole and come back looking like this.
He done punched somebody.
Exactly.
Don't try that with me.
You're a throat chop.
Yeah, guys have said like I have no control over what happens with my reflexes, so I will apologize in advance if you go anywhere near the exits. Anything and everything can happen, so enter at your own risk.
Yeah, no, don't play them games.
Oh my God, Anthony said jumpstart a Pinto with a bad alternator in a snow blizzard. Oh my God, we were talking about warming up the car.
But now I call it a Pinto.
Not a Pinto.
That's horrible.
Hey Akira, welcome. If you guys are joining in for the first time, drop your city and state, you guys. And shout out to everybody who is here in spite of football. Football not letting me be great. So those of you watching the replay, I hope the game was worth it, okay? Because we were lit up in here. Okay. Beck says, hey Yonci, I'm here now. Hey. Hey Rebecca. I'm assuming that says Rebecca. If it is Rebecca, hey girl, hey. Oh Lord, I have two graphics overlaying each other. Okay, I'm sorry. I got all into the little jokey jokes, Doug, with you. Was there anything else you wanted to share? You were saying ask each guy because each guy is different. Is Doug there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. He had a flashback of his bad experience.
Doug was still messed up in the head about that.
He was like, I remember it.
You need a speech therapist?
She tried to take
You need a moment, Doug?
No, but I wouldn't hear you. So what was the question again?
Trying to take your virginity.
I'm just
No.
not your fudge virginity.
Yeah, that's
it. They came for my man. They came for my man Doug. They tried him. Poor baby. Poor little
That cool, Doug. That wasn't cool.
Oh, we got Tony Watts in the house. What's up, Tony? NYC. We got all the friends in the building today. Okay, Chavez and then Keon, and then we're going to get on. Y'all, we have a lot to unpack. Just you wait.
So to tap into, well, not to tap into what Doug was saying, but to speak to what Doug was saying. to speak to what Doug was saying.
Oh my God,
do you want to unpack what he was saying?
That I have to admit, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? Like, no judgment. I mean, I'm sure because there are a lot of sisters that love that, so I'm sure there's some pleasure to that. I mean, scientifically it's known, but to his point, like I don't really care about missing a blessing. Like, I'm cool with not being blessed. You know what I'm saying? So. I had somebody play the Itsy Bitsy Spider one time, right? Where it's like the hands was like working. I'm like, whoa, what you doing? The hands was. I'm like, yo, whoa, what you doing? Like,
that's a nursery rhyme you don't want to finish.
Right. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm cool with that. But the other thing too is head. If you really don't know how or want to, head is not a necessary situation.
No head is better than bad head is what I'm hearing you say.
Exactly.
No teeth.
Hey, if you don't know that you're well versed in it, like I don't know.
What makes it bad? What makes the head
Teeth,
bad?
girl.
What?
She said teeth.
I mean, I know teeth was obvious, but I thought it was
there might
something
be some beginners, LaShante. Don't judge. There might be some beginners, okay?
Or laziness.
Like,
It's lazy. It's the lazy girl. It's the lazy ones that just be like,
Now,
and that's why I demand what I want.
The lazy. But you gotta give to get. You gotta give.
And it's enthusiasm too. Enthusiasm, like it is mental.
Well, if they don't like doing it,
right, it will come across that way. And so, I'm sorry, you guys. This is a really big deal. Well, first of all, really big deal. Trinicia is watching. Okay, that first of all. Hey, Trinicia, this is one of my girls. Girls, love her. But I just need everybody to get really excited because it was just reported that the Saints won. Woo! Who dat?
Yo, take it, Yonci, take it easy. I'm from Chicago.
And I'm from New Orleans.
You should be used to the pain.
New Orleans.
Who that, Monica? Who that?
All day. But I'm a Cowboys fan.
Take it easy.
She's like,
take it easy. I didn't even want to talk. We shouldn't even be talking football right now. We should be talking about something else.
Oh my God.
I'm on this call with you. Let it go.
he had a little trauma. He said head doesn't work if you're not committed. He said looking like a lollipop only gonna make it soft because we all know what comes after 5.
Really?
Why did Yonci just say that like Miss Swan from looking like a, she said looking like a from Mad TV. Miss Swan.
We are dating ourselves. We are really
looking like a lollipop.
Look what I can do. I love Mad TV.
Anybody on the phone? Any of the men on the phone have been able to orgasm from just head?
No. No.
Okay, wait. So when y'all, wait a minute. So when y'all,
I knew it.
So when y'all ejaculate, y'all never ejaculated from getting head?
They said no. They said no.
No, you never.
No, that's
yeah,
you never know how lazy and awful.
That should make your eyes roll back in your head. You should scream like a girl and your toes should curl. When that is done right, I'm talking from research purposes because I have children that may one day watch YouTube. Research purposes, okay? I have researched and asked people questions.
That's from research purposes.
Because I'm a virgin. But when it's done right, men will propose, men will scream, I love you, like I said.
Monica face is better than mine. Her faces are everything.
Yonci, you did research.
I interviewed, and women interviewed said that when they did it right, men lost their mind and
paid a few bills.
Out of control. Proposed, said I love you, blurted out I love you by accident.
What do you need?
Right.
Yeah. My prayer for you is that in 2021.
She extend the hand up.
In 2021, may you receive
the blessing,
the amazing head from an LTR, okay, a loving tender, round and round. I speak that into your life, okay. I need the eye roll back.
On the call.
I need and I don't want to say too much.
May you receive the blessing
from research purposes.
That's how it's supposed to go down.
Find an armchair.
That's what's supposed to happen.
And allow her to be comfortable. And allow yourself to be comfortable. Find an armchair, your lazy boy, whatever, what have you. And then hold on to those armrests real tight. Because you're in for a treat. So, anyway, long term.
Just grab on to something and enjoy the ride, my baby.
Oh, y'all making me. Y'all making me. Oh my God, loving tender. Okay.
That loving tender.
That loving tender on her knees is just
where you need to be.
You don't gotta be on her knees though.
But I think that's something that women don't talk about amongst themselves a lot either. We don't talk about talk about technique or that being important, or that even being something that is necessary. I think that's something that's lost with women too. Because I've had conversations like that with other women, and they're like, "You doing all that?"
Yeah, it's a necessary conversation.
Keon and Doug might want to chime into this, but I think just personally, I'm going to say there's two things. One thing is you have to be completely relaxed and comfortable with that particular woman to allow, because that is a place of vulnerability, and a lot of men have giving that power up.
Like Monica said, no teeth zone.
No.
The other thing too is a lot of times too, we're also looking to jump into the sex. So the anticipation is kind of like, okay, this is cool and everything, But I want to get to this other thing.
That's a good point. So, don't want to waste it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's like it could be phenomenal. It could be amazing, but we're anticipating like getting into what we want to get into.
It was the preview before the feature.
But sometimes some women, they love doing it.
Yes.
They get off.
They want to rob her of her blessing.
Right. So yeah.
And on occasion that may be all that's available.
I was just gonna say sometimes the doors of the church are closed.
Sometimes it's like, look,
everything is not available to you this week.
This is what you got.
Hold on, who said that? Who said that though?
She's under construction this week. So,
right. She's going through some things.
No, but sometimes the woman is not open for business. Not that the man has a problem running red lights. Sometimes the woman is not comfortable with the man running red lights.
No, right.
We're not down.
Sometimes, and also sometimes she might be sore. She might have places to go and things to do. Right. And so she's like, let's just go ahead and wrap this up.
Because she just made a sacrifice. She was not expecting anything of you. She just came for you and satisfied you and went on about her day.
No.
She took the time, made sure you were good. She went on about her day. She went on about her day. I'm so happy for you. That's why I love you. You're welcome.
And that songs are playing. This is why I love you. Keon, weigh in, sir.
So I don't think when the will was made, I think it was made perfectly. So I believe when Doug talks about that area, I am not in the business of harming a woman physically, but the quickest way for you to get something done to you is to try to mess around back there. No, we ain't gonna play that game. We can be you go there. Hey, what you doing? It'll cut off quick. And then the other part, the whole oral situation. I mean, if you cannot do that stuff right, and if you're not available, just go and miss me with it, because that's not gonna be. That's like maybe so that's just a deposit that you're putting in for later on. Kind of like you all want deposits put in there in the morning before you make a withdrawal later on in the evening. Okay, but don't sit there and think that you just gonna do that. No, that's not gonna work.
That deposit does not need to happen.
As for me in my house, that's not gonna work.
He said his house. Hold on. He said me in my house.
He said as for me in my house.
He added scripture onto that.
Right. All the same folks were like, that's a scripture. That's Jeremiah.
That's a scripture. That's a scripture.
Hey. That's just what it is. So.
As for me in my house, we will use the front door only. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Oh my God. All right. So let's get into it. Who is responsible for the woman's orgasm? Is it the woman? Is it the man? Or is it both collectively? Let me get into these thoughts really, really quick. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. Y'all are on fire tonight. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all are going to let YouTube know this is where it's at. Y'all are helping with the algorithms when you communicate. Plus, it's way more fun when you guys chat back. Okay, so we got some who-dats in the comment.
Stop it. Tell them to stop.
Gator says that's a blessing. I swear when you get the right man, y'all will be asking his ring size. Okay, they say most are not putting that amount of effort in when it comes to pleasing on their needs. Let's see. Darren says, no, that's his comment. James says, I have, but most ladies didn't do it long enough or intense enough to get it there. Sounds familiar. Not long enough, not intense. Stay in the same spot. Okay. Where are these women? Anthony says, well, watch my video that is coming up next week. I am dropping a how to get high value woman video. So go ahead and subscribe and hit like. Hit the bell notifications if you would like to know.
Anthony, get his $40 out.
Look. Okay. Brizzle says, I finished from oral, but it's extremely rare.
Both 40.
Most of the time, it's just sexual decoration for me. It's just a nice part of the overall sexual experience, which is what the guys were saying.
Yes.
Tony Watts says, whoa, wait a minute. What did I miss? Armchair. So much, sir. So much. Trinicia says, sis, wait. Okay, let's see. Anthony asked this question. I knew this was going to come up. were they black? Anthony said, asking, that was directed at you, Doug. I'm pretty sure when she was trying to introduce you. But black women are open to. See, I think women.
Look, okay. We don't.
What did Doug say?
He's like,
Doug looks like a disappointed dad, like a disapproving dad right now. You're like, Dad, can I? And he's like,
he's like, I can't believe she even went there.
Yeah.
Like
that, his frown says it all.
It is. His
like,
no answer was an answer. Yeah.
Yes, it was like, I trusted you.
James says there's evil in good head. We'll have you hypnotized and under her control for the rest of the day. Yikes. And that's the point. Okay, Beck says, I feel being comfortable and relaxed is tied to trust that you have in that person and your confidence as a receiver. Yes, Becca, I agree 100%. And she and I are usually on the same page when it comes to our comments in the group. John says, not just teeth. He said, so many ways head could be blah. That's a good one to unpack. You know, we should do that one on the his pleasure, not so much video. Walter says, my gal love being a head doctor. Or maybe she loves being a head doctor. Providing
right
slow neck and warm mouth on demand. Oh.
He's from the island. Me got
You didn't know what that doctor was?
Yo, straight belly up in this piece.
I cannot. LaShante did a really good
impression. Give
impression.
the hair like she graduated from a good school.
LaShante, I love you so much. Trinicia said, oh, the chair. Trinicia's checking on you. She said, Chavez, you okay? All right. So we said, okay, so Darren says, oh, Darren, no, I did not see your comment. I was in Facebook jail for a while, so I was a little too traumatized to go in there. He said, did you see my comment in your group today about a woman's orgasm not being required for reproduction, but the man's is? So let's put a pin in that and talk about that too, okay? Because that's coming up in the next segment.
Look at Monica's face.
Look, like you tried it. Okay, so Brizzle says, I'm no fan of cycle sex either. I don't run red lights. Sorry, not sorry. And then John says, don't try to call me out research purposes, sir. Okay, now the answers are coming in. So a lot of people are saying both. Beck says, I feel both, but more the man. Anthony says both. Brizzle says both. Akira says, switch up, then head be open to different positions to giving him. Okay. Has to know what to communicate. Okay. Anthony says, I ain't paying. All right, so guys, I'm going to start with Keon. I'm going to go Keon, Chavez, Doug, Monica, and then end with LaShante. So what do you think? His responsibility, her responsibility, or both of their responsibility?
I think that is both. Again, like I just said, you have to put in a deposit. Women, y'all like guys are like microwaves. When we ready, we ready. It's not going to take us very long. Y'all are more like slow cookers. It takes y'all all day to get warmed up and get ready. And so we have to understand that, and we got to put in the necessary work if we want to get that withdrawal. If you're not sending her some nice text messages, you're waking up in the morning and doing those types of things throughout the day, then it's going to come in there, you know, you're not anticipating anything. And so for you to get the maximum results of what you need from both parties, you have to take time and you have to trust that person. And you got to be open.
I would say, Keon, in addition, because I've always been a fan of that, the microwave metaphor, is that not just, you know, turning her on, you know, and sending her a sexy text message, but a lot of times with women, like I started out by saying, they don't feel loved, period. They don't feel loved as a whole woman from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet. Right. And they feel used because it's like, oh, the only time you are interacting with me or like pouring into me is when you want something from me. And so that is a big thing for guys to understand too. If they're not getting the quantity that they want or the quality that they want from their long-term partner, their loving, tender partner, it's a lot of that goes to the psych part of it is, are you doing things non-sexually for her? Are you rubbing her feet and that's it? Are you rubbing her back and that's it? Are you watching TV with her and that's it? You know, it's not leading to something. Chavez, his responsibility, hers, or both?
Both.
All right, Doug. I'm sorry, Chavez. What'd you say?
No, it's the same thing. It's just both. And like he was saying, for guys, we just have to be a lot more attentive, and recognizing, what her body is responding to. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, women are, like you said, you guys are a lot more complex when it comes to this. You guys come with a whole lot of other things when it comes down to that interaction. The wind blows and we ready to go. It'll be finished in 2 minutes. So you know what I'm saying? So us, it's simple, but we really have to take our time to get to know and feel you guys out while we're in that.
Okay. Doug, his, hers, or both?
It's both. You just have to have that communication together and those kind of things to know what each person likes and doesn't like, so y'all can both be pleasurable and both get what y'all want and feel loved and feel all those affections from your partner.
Yeah. Okay. Monica?
Both.
And Lashante. Why she just look
like
so...
Like it's his.
You said what?
Yeah.
Wait, I missed it. What'd you say, Monica?
I said she gonna say it's his. It's his responsibility.
She looks so innocent, but yet devilish at the same time. It's like,
yes, this is true. This is true. Facts.
I'm about to F up your world. That's her.
Don't be telling the secret. No, he is responsible. He is responsible.
Monica called
it. If I am not alone taking care of myself, then he is responsible for my orgasm. What are we talking about? For me, it's for me, right? The orgasm for me, Lashante's orgasm. Yeah. If I am not masturbating, then yes, he is responsible for my orgasm, because otherwise, what are you here for, sir? What are we doing? What are we doing here? What's happening right now?
I would hate to be a man and to be with you. I would be like, oh my God. The pressure would be like so hard.
Like Lashante looked like she was gonna say that, knock her computer over, knock her computer over and just walk off.
Like, what are you doing? Get off of me and get out.
This is the thing that I'm thinking about.
Listen, I say that because if I'm with someone, then I feel like I'm here for his pleasure as well. So I feel like I'm responsible for him getting where he needs to be as well. And I'm going to do the things that he likes to do. And I feel like we should be on the same page with that. He should also do the things that I like to get me to where I need to be. I want him to be checking on me. Like, okay, did you get there? Are you good now?
Here's my question for you, though. When you first, or if it's just research you want to reference, but when you first had a solo experience, you had to explore your body, I'm assuming. And it was trial and error to see what worked, what bells and whistles did what, knobs and levers and whatnot.
Yes. And so I have done the research.
Right. So what my thing is,
tell you about this research that I have done, and I feel like women don't do that. I feel like at a certain age, I mean, I'm gonna say that's probably somewhere in your 20s. But whatever it is for that woman, I can't say what it is for that woman. I don't know. For me, it was very early on. So, in fact, that was something that I was trying to achieve. So I don't know why I'm so different, but I will say that if this is the point of sex, like, I get it that sex is for procreation. Like, okay.
That's a good one.
Like, okay. I have only procreated twice. So sex for me was not about procreation, because otherwise I would have a lot more children than what I have. My point is I think that women overall, we think that there is some type of societal thing on us that we're not supposed to enjoy it, and it's not supposed to be satisfactory for us. And I think that that's what the problem is, why you have all these women saying that they don't have good sexual experiences. Well, you don't have good sexual experiences because you're not saying that that's important to you. So a lot of men don't think that it's important to women because they don't talk about it. They don't talk about what they like. They don't talk about what's important or any of those things.
But I would say, this is where I would play devil's advocate. I would say then that your answer is kind of both, because you are educating him at the beginning. You're giving him that information. So to me, making it totally his responsibility would be you just being silent and like having him figuring it out like Helen Keller.
Yeah.
But you are giving him the Blue's Clues, and you're.
Did you say Helen Keller? Did you just say Helen Keller?
Helen Keller.
Yo, listen here. Let me tell you something.
Yes, it is.
Yonci be sliding.
If part of the education is involved, if my educating him is involved in that, then yes. But him actually physically getting me to where I need to be, I think that's only one-sided.
Because I was gonna say though that like, okay, so getting back to what I was starting out with when you did the exploratory thing, like you're connected to your body, like you literally know your own body, but yet there was an exploratory phase. So a man is outside your body and having to go, like if we are using a device, we literally know when it's about to happen, you know, the climax is about to happen and yada, 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 like, because we're there. And I think that when it comes to women, especially, because like Chavez said, the wind can blow and a guy can, you know, reach his climax. But for a woman, I think that we do need to communicate a lot when it comes to the guys. So this is my question. Men say that they want feedback. They say we're not mind readers. We want to know. But I'm sure that every single woman has a story of a guy who got his ego bruised because she said, nah, that ain't it. So, men, is there a right way or a wrong way to correct a man? Do you let him finish his session and then tell him after the fact? Do you tell him in the moment, no go, Joe? What is the best way to let him know that ain't it?
It's the right way. You know, you don't just sit there think about how you would want somebody to talk to you if you were doing something that they don't like.
Good
so
answer.
You're gonna be rude and all that to him. Or would you like that if he was rude to you and say, you know, what are you doing? You know, this and that.
What's the right way?
So
that was a good answer, Doug.
You gotta learn again. You gotta learn your man. If that's your man, you gotta learn your man. So you're like, okay, well, let me talk him through it. Let me tell him these things, or maybe he's the type of man. Okay, maybe afterwards, I need to say, hey, let me some things you like, I like, and everything. I'd rather have somebody talk to me during the moment. So okay, let me get you, make sure I'm pleasuring you during that time, not wait till after the fact. So you gotta learn, but always think about how you would like somebody to speak to you.
I love that. It makes it real clear. Yeah.
Just don't lie. Don't lie about it. I mean, don't wait to the end. And how was it? Then you want to we come in for the evaluation, and then you said, well, you know, you could have did this, you could have did it. Well, how about you just tell me that now while I'm doing that, maybe we can, you know, salvage the situation versus, you know, because some women are quick on the tongue with some of this stuff. That's why you didn't do this. Wait a minute. You didn't tell me that.
Right.
You thought you were doing something. You wasn't doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, you know.
But let a man talk to a woman that way.
I am not one of those women.
That's why what Doug said was so poignant. Like, can you imagine as a woman, you think you know, doing your thing, and he's like, that ain't it. Nothing. I don't know what you think you doing with that little move right there, ma'am. No. Like, you try. That would just, and we have to think of each other as humans, you know, and not, you know, consider their ego. But I like the positive reassurance, like, maybe, you know, because this is my thing. Like, if I have my partner and I am silent, like,
that's cool.
Yes, that is scary.
And then you do something else, and I'm like, woo! I think you should, like, take a clue, you know? And then you switch it up, and it's back to...
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Because men aren't really given a lot of guidance from the time we're young.
Chavez, your microphone is covered or something. The audio just went trash. I don't know if it's the chargers, like, or the case maybe is covering the mic or something.
Can you hear me now?
It's just really faint. I don't know if you did something different. I mean, I can hear you, but it's just, it's real garbled.
Try it again.
Why did his face look so serious?
Wow.
I know.
You know what? That's not even cool. She said, try it again, try it again. On this context that we talking about now.
That's not it, Chavez. That's not
That's not it. Try again. Come on.
First of all, Doug, that's not what I was doing.
The first time around was better, Chavez. The first time was way better.
That's not even what I was doing.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
I could do this all night. That's what she said.
That's what she said. Try it again.
Well, Chavez is trying to get things together. I want to read Jay's comments from a little while back, but I like what he said. Jay said that it's her responsibility to be relaxed, which some could say that's kind of his responsibility to get her relaxed, but I'm not going to go there. And he said it's his responsibility to explore and figure it out. Ask her to talk to you during it. Ask her what she likes in the moment. And that's what's cool is when you have that rapport that you can do that. What to go back to, etc. And then you have to take your time with it. Gator says, we kings have to set up the queens emotionally for the act. G says, too much work. Darren says, get her mind right first. Brizzle says, whoa, I can probably rock with a woman like this one on the right. She's clear and up front. All right, girl. Wait a minute. Isn't Brizzle the one that was coming for you in your headboard with your wine glass? I'm just saying. She's clear and up front, and our sexual encounters would be nice. Efficient exchange of releases. It sounds harsh up front, but it's legit.
Yonci and I'm.
You thinking about it, Brizzle? You thinking about it?
Brizzle sounds like a strong, firm name, you know?
Who is Brizzle? Who's Brizzle? What does he look like? What is his Facebook? Let me look this one up.
Brizzle wants to be her nizzle. Okay.
He wants to make a deposit. He wants to make a deposit, girl, and see a bank, girl.
Can you hear me now?
Release.
Yeah, it's much better, Chavez.
Say you can have whatever you like.
You can have whatever. Tony says, tell me during. He wants to know during. Akira says, I would say it in the moment, but not in a negative way. Jay says it depends on the man. If he's in the moment and likes instruction, then yes. If not, tell him after. He said, I like it in the moment. Gator says, that's queens paying attention to her king. Okay, but does he know what research you've done about your likes? And that's just that she does tell him. A woman can coach a man to an orgasm in less than 5 minutes. Tell us. D Hankins, my boy. That's my love. Hey, D. He says it can be super subtle, though. Right there, just like that. Dig your nails in my back. Get a little louder. Ooh, D. I thought you were a virgin.
I don't think it has to be verbal. I think that most of the time when I'm letting a guy know, I'm thinking he's going on my physical cues. So I don't think that, like Chavez, I would hate to be that. No, you wouldn't, because you, I'm not sitting in there like, no, don't do that.
He says,
I don't know why I hear you saying it like that.
Yeah,
what you doing?
Like, what you doing? What you doing?
Why you me on the streets like this? Get off of me.
Yeah.
Like,
that doesn't go in there.
She pulls out a belt. She pulls out a belt and starts whipping you.
No snacks for you this week.
Like, God damn it! It is a grows up. God damn it! So I have to tell you everything. Why lay down? Just lay down and do what I do.
I don't have one night stands. I don't do like quick hookups. So like we talking through. Let's talk about it. Men love to talk about it. So
what is it? LTR. Okay.
LTR. Loving tender.
Loving tender.
This is what I like.
Love me tender. Love me true.
I feel like I can stimulate him by telling him what I like.
Okay.
So there's never a bad conversation. If we talking about it and we going back and forth about it, then he's gonna like that I'm telling him what I like.
And especially if after the fact you reference it, man, last time I really liked XYZ. He's gonna want to repeat that. I love what Brizzle says. He said, emphasize what we are doing right, and when we're doing something wrong, ask us to do something else. So you're not necessarily saying, I don't like that. You can say, oh, baby, can you do this? And he said, we'll get the message.
No,
I never say anything
nice like that, but I mean, I wouldn't say, oh, baby, no.
She said, oh, no, not so much.
Yeah, like, no, not that.
He said, okay, let's see. D says, don't play me, Yonci. I'm just kidding. He has 2 beautiful children. He's had sex at least twice. Okay. I'm just kidding. You know I love you, friend. Adjustments would be necessary during. Okay.
She said, I love you, friend.
This panel's off the chain. Yes, y'all give yourself some snaps. They say y'all are off the chain. I'm telling you, when I saw the lineup tonight, I was like, come through, YouTube channel. And normally I promote it a lot more, but with my whole 24-hour stint in the clinker, I was like, my God. Oh, I didn't know if y'all were going to be able to get to it.
Nah, she done did. She done did hard time, girl.
PTSD from being
She got it right. She done did hard time.
I really did. And y'all, I have my email list. This is why I preach email list. Like, have your email list. Do not, be married to your social media accounts, because if they pull one plug, you're out. I was underground sending letters, through the prison walls. I was like, y'all. I said, let people know.
Orange is the new black.
Orange is the new black. I said, let them know in the comment section, you guys. Because they can't post on the wall. I was like, let him know in the comments. Fire up the comments. And if you want to be on the show, email this and da-da-da-da-da. And my little soldiers were out there like, y'all, just in case y'all know. It was awesome. I was like, that's great. I was like, y'all, I was in my cell like.
You should have the hashtag free Yonci.
Free Yonci. Free Yonci.
Y'all made me so proud today. I was like, my God. And I was counting down because I would try to post. And then Facebook was like, you still have 2 hours left. Okay, you still have 1 hour left. And I'm just like ready to get on. And then I get on and I start trying to make up for lost time. And they told me, you posting too fast. You commenting too fast. And they say, you're frozen from commenting. So I had to just only do, it was a mess. Okay, y'all, but I'm back. Okay, Brizzle is clean out and looks great in a suit. Oh.
I know that's right.
Oh, clean cut. I'm sorry, not clean out. Clean cut. Oh, okay, Brizzle, this is what I need you to do. I forgot, and I'm so glad you said that because it just made me remember. I'm forgetting all my stuff because I get caught up like we just all some old friends. I need you guys who are watching to go on Instagram. You can keep YouTube open, okay? But go on Instagram and do a screenshot, anything fun, but what you're doing while you're watching. So if you're eating, if you're laying in bed, whatever, send me something funny and I'm going to go ahead and look at my stories and I'm going to repost them in my stories. So you could @ me, which is Chasing Yonci, or you can hashtag Chasing Yonci. And then I can go ahead and see that, but tag me in stuff while you're on the live and then I will go ahead and check that out. So tonight's the first night that I'm using my phone because I finally figured out how to do it using my phone so I can have a high def picture. So I'll have to figure out how to go on my my Instagram while I'm using my phone camera. Well, we'll see. He said that could be dangerous talking about sex. D said you might want to rethink tonight being the premiere night to show what you're doing while you're watching the show. Good point, D. Good point. Point the camera away. I don't want to see any lotion bottles or Kleenex.
He said the lotion bottles.
I should have worn a turtleneck tonight, you guys. We don't want to stimulate anybody. Okay. That was hilarious. All right, where were we? Okay, y'all. I got into my notes. Look, I do my research, okay? We don't just go off the cuff, you guys. I spend time getting this together. This greatness is not just...
So what kind of research have you been doing?
This research is serious.
Monica, I think that someone's calling you. You might have a phone call to answer.
That research is serious. I know that.
Okay, he said, Chavez, you telling us that Itsy Bitsy Spider was... Well, he said was not... Twizlit. Hashtag Twizlit. Inside joke. Sorry, guys. Twizlit. Hashtag Twizlit. You guys should all do that in your hashtags. Twizlit, and it will kill all of us.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Yeah, that came from that night.
All right. So the next question is, you guys, let's break this down. The male anatomy versus the female anatomy. Why is it so much easier? And I want to remember what the comments you guys made earlier, which I said this is going to come out later in the show. Come out, no pun intended. Why is it so much? Why is it so much easier for a man to climax than a woman? And I think was it Darren? I think who said that a man has to climax to be able to reproduce versus a woman who doesn't, which is kind of scary. Like, I mean, this is a somber term, but a woman could literally be raped, be non-consenting. She could be in a coma and could still get pregnant and, be inseminated. So that's an interesting thing to think about, that a man's climax is crucial to reproducing, but a woman's isn't. But with a guy, I mean, we joked about saying a wind.
Hold on, are you telling us that there's no need for a woman to climax? That's the last thing you need to share with the brothers right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, now the brothers are gonna be like, oh, she don't have to.
If that's the case, then men do not need to have sex.
I think that's already out there.
But Lashante, I was gonna say, if we're gonna go that route, then that means that men need to stop fornicating if they're not trying to procreate. So if we're only doing reproduction, y'all need to not be practicing.
That's right.
I retract my statement.
What you Wait,
look directly into the.
They say you can also get pregnant off a pre-cum.
Yes.
So they don't necessarily have to.
That happens for real.
So I've heard. I don't know, but I've heard.
I have heard that there's a little bit of semen in there.
And apparently that's the good stuff. Apparently, I don't know.
Fact checkers, go ahead and fact check that for me, please.
They call that sugar water. Don't ask me why. I'm just saying. That's sugar water. Hey, don't just.
I've heard sugar water in a different term, but okay.
Hey, let's move on.
We're gonna cut to commercial break on that.
Hey.
What's Chavez say about me?
Yeah, we can't hear Chavez. You were perfect at the beginning.
I know. What he said my name. He said
God was like, strike him down.
I didn't hear all of it, but I did hear him say my name. What you say about me?
It's still not working?
No, that was good.
We hear you now.
I don't believe that terminology.
It's going in and out.
That sounds like a trick. That sounds like a little trick that guys used to get you to try it.
What?
I heard what he said.
Well, I didn't hear what he said. What did he say, Monica?
Sugar water, so that you try to see.
No.
Yeah, that's what he doing. That
sounds like a little trick. Because I ain't never heard it called sugar water.
You haven't?
I don't think I've heard that.
Why don't you do some research, Monica?
Right, you go on, girl. Go and get that research and just let me know.
I've never heard that term before. I've never heard that terminology.
Yeah. Hey, sugar water.
He's schooling us. Chavez, Tony Watts says, hold it down, big bro. Hold it down.
Oh, for sure.
So now Jay says this: many women aren't comfortable with their own sexuality or their partner. And here's the thing. He said he jumped on the hook. That was funny. Jay, that is something huge, and we're going to unpack that a little more later. But I definitely agree that society plays a huge role. There is a huge stigma when it comes to a woman being sexually free. There's a huge stigma in the church community, a lot, like male or female, like it's such a taboo thing. And a lot of people they're not comfortable enjoying sex because they just feel like it's such a horrible thing when it's just, no, it's meant to be in a certain, in the confines of an LTR. But they're looking at it as being bad altogether. And a lot of people have shame in oral sex and things like that. There's just so many hangups. Even, don't beat me, even, anal stimulation. When there are stigmas to something, it gives people a mental block to be able to not enjoy something that they could possibly scientifically enjoy. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna set that there at the altar and then walk away. But women have been stigmatized into, it's shameful to enjoy it. And even if she wants some, like, it's considered shameful for her to come straight out and be like, yo, big daddy, I want you. So I definitely think that there is a connection between a woman totally being comfortable, and also there's a lot of and I get into this a lot in my content on YouTube, but the psychological thing where women have this desire to be chosen and picked because of their biology. So go with me on this. The woman wants to be picked, so she's put in the receiving end, no pun intended, but she is put in the more passive role, because it's like, pick me, pick me, pick me. So she is trying to do all these things to please the guy. And that doesn't, just go for outside of the bed. It's in the bed. So her only focus is pleasing the guy and being pleasing to her, because at the end of the day, she wants to be picked. She's not focusing on herself. And so I definitely think there's a lot of psychological stuff that comes into it that Chavez, that's why I was really glad you're getting on, because I want to get into the emotional intelligence. You said something else that I wanted to bring up in the group. You were saying, but I think that's what it was, is just saying women were not taught that it's okay to enjoy it. So it's hard for them to let go and release.
Can you hear me? Am I coming through?
Yeah, you sound like you're in a.
Yeah, but you're a little muffled.
You sound like you're in a can, like those cans with the string you did as a kid. That's what you sound like, but we can at least hear you.
No, that's not good at all.
It's weird. You'll come in really strong and then you'll go away.
He might just have to sign.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's good.
Better.
All right. So what ends up happening is at our root, men and women, we are sexual beings. We're spiritual beings, but we're sexual beings as well. And what ends up controlling how we interact in life is our physiology, but then also too socialization. There's a community in Asia where the men fight for the women's attention, and she has multiple partners, right? That's the way they're socialized, where it's like men are fighting. So she has like 5 or 6 or 7 partners, and they're the ones that are sitting back saying, pick me. So it really just boils down to the society that you come in and the construct that they create for how you're supposed to operate. So men being in, most of the societies that we're in, they're patriarchal. Men are calling the shots. So that means everything that's supposed to be to a man's benefit is what we do. And then women, on the other hand, it's like where you guys are, kind of like you're next to us. So it's like you have to play the role where it's like you have to want to be chosen by us. And it's the societal norm. So now it's like a lot of women are very uncomfortable, with their sexuality and exploring themselves and being vocal about, how they want to receive sex and so many different things. And at the end of the day, it's really our jobs as men to make sure that the woman is comfortable if we want the best experience. Like if we literally want the best experience for both of us, it really is up to us to make sure that the woman is comfortable. Because if you make the woman comfortable, no pun intended, but the floodgates open.
Yeah. No, I love that.
I agree.
He said Yonci almost did a Chandala monologue on that one. Which one? I don't even know what I was talking about because the comments come in a little bit later. So Anthony, you have to tell me which one. And it's so hilarious that when you said Shondaland monologue, I don't. What's the lady's name who wrote oh my God, Grey's Anatomy and all that.
Shonda Rhimes.
Okay, so I don't know if he's talking about her when he said Shondaland, but it cracks me up because shade, no shade. Okay, I would say no shade, but when you say no shade, you about to shade. But it's funny because I recognize her writing style, and so the different characters of Grey's Anatomy would go into these monologues, and it's like this speech pattern, and I would totally hear that, and so I'm cracking up when I hear him say that little screenwriting nerd humor for you. Jay Smith says, I think feminism has helped women get more orgasms. I don't like it as a whole, but that's one thing I like. Society has liberated women. Akira says, Gator, I didn't say they couldn't. Oh, they're going back and forth talking about getting able to be pregnant. Being able to become pregnant from pre-cum. All right, so anyways, all right, so let's get into my next question. Actually, no, I have one more question on this topic before I leave. Do you think that a big reason why it's easier for a man to climax is because he's usually the one that is physically in control? So he's moving and thrusting and doing things in a way that make his member feel good versus if a woman, and they say like different positions, the woman can be more in control. If a woman is more in control, she's going to be doing the movements and things that are working for her. And I remember back to that famous Scoot post that we had. That thread was on fire. It was one of those, hey guys, give the women a heads up about things that are just not where it's at in bed. And one of the guys said, all that little scooting business is not the business. It does nothing for us. But the irony is that the reason why the women are doing the scoot is because the scoot works for them. And so it all comes back to, well, do you care about the woman's pleasure? So what do you guys think? Do you think that the tables would turn a little bit if the woman was more in control if it was, you know, more the norm for the woman to take the lead. I just mean in the physical, like, positions and things like that.
It's cool. Go for it.
But I'm saying, do you think that she would be able to get more pleasure if she was
absolutely.
basically working the man versus vice versa?
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, get what you can get, because you know it's not going to take long for us. So go on and get what you can get when you can get it, while you can get it. Because
he said, "Get what you can get."
I'm serious.
Why you can get it? He said, "Why you can."
You better get what you can what you get, and sit on the can now.
That sounds like a Bernie Mac joke.
Well, it's not. You better get it.
Jay says a woman on top is always easier to climax. She can rearrange her body, hit different spots, and women get more blood flow to that area. Now, she does have to have her thighs together, though. She does need to have her knees in order. Get those just flying. Look at Shantae's face.
Yonci giving all the tidbits. Yonci's tidbits. she giving it out.
But listen, that's what I'm saying. When I hear women say that they've never had orgasm with penetration, I mean, that's what I think of. I'm like, do you get on top? Like, is she on top?
Right.
I mean, there's just a technique, because it's not necessarily always on top.
Well, there's only two positions there. Well, we here now. That is on top works for me. It definitely works for me. But you know, a good arch in the back, and there it is. A good arch and a good kegel at the same time. The arch and the kegel at the same time.
Hallelujah. So my research has said.
I also think science and how we're built is also one of the reasons why it's quicker for us as men to. I mean, I feel like that's a part of the evolution, us being who we are. I think that's a part of it as well.
You know, it's interesting when you said evolution, because
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that. What did you say before that?
I think science comes into play, and it's like just how we are built and how our the member is built. Like it's set up for us to be able to do that, you know, without like 45 minutes of work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, there's different. Some guys have different. You know, y'all members are the same. You know, like
it's not about.
I don't care nothing about how long it lasts, as long as we arrive. As long as we arrive. Honestly, I don't like. I don't know. I think men get caught up on that time thing too.
No, yeah. I'm saying more so the reason why it's easier for us is because of the way we're built.
Right. Like that outside versus inside.
Yes.
Innie versus outie. No, we get that part of it.
Right.
But I think that men get hung up on that time. What Monica was saying is that men get hung up on that timeliness of it all too, where we can't be a 2-minute man. We got to go to distance. Right. Sometimes we don't want distance. Sometimes if everybody
you're trying to get to your destination quickly, right?
Yes.
You don't want that long Uber ride. Like, just get me there quickly.
Get me up, right?
As long as everybody arrives at their destination, I don't care how long it takes.
Right. All my bags came with me.
Right. LaShante, like I don't have to get there, then leave, then come back, then leave, then come back, then leave, then come back.
No.
So it's interesting when you were talking about evolution, because from a scientific perspective, like this just really like blew my mind. But for a man, so the purpose of sex obviously is primarily for reproduction, because the jury is out on whether or not it's there for enjoyment. But I mean, we were created in a way that it's enjoyable, right? So, I mean, it could have been a situation where like a sneeze, well, I was like, a sneeze is enjoyable too, but for some people, but there are certain functions that we have, like, okay, well, let me say this. Okay. Not to be crass, but number
that
two.
Sneeze felt good. I know I just sneezed and it felt good.
I was gonna say sneezing feels amazing to me. It's like, woo, it's a little tingle. But excrement, okay, excreting, that is not something, I mean, technically it kind of feels good if you held it for a really long time and it's good to release, but it's not that type of pleasure where it's like, oh, I can't wait to go number 2. Like, it's not like that level. So I think that the creator made us in a way that it was also intended for pleasure. And if we go with that theory, it's interesting to think, why would we be made in such a different way? Because if you go at it from a scientific perspective, that like, okay, reproductively, it can happen quickly and in and out. Like a man could be in and out in 2 minutes, make a baby, and then move on. But in order to get pleasure, he has to hold, not to get pleasure, but in order for her to get pleasure, he has to physically hold back. And then she has to really, 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 really concentrate and then hang in there for however long it takes. It's interesting to think about the dynamics of it from a scientific perspective. And then from an interesting perspective, the emotional, psychological part, it teaches the two to have to work together. And it's about sacrifice, because you have to give and take, pun intended. But you have to his need, you have to be aware of his needs, and you have to be aware of her needs. So it's a lot to unpack, it's a lot to get through. All right. So, I was ready to just go woof when they brought this up. So we were talking about a woman not being able to climax and choke and not choke. Oh my. Well, there you go. There you have it. What was that, ma'am? Are you feeling a little parched? Maybe Brizzle can bring you a beverage since you don't have your signature drink tonight on your headboard. I almost didn't recognize you without your headboard, by the way. This is just,
I know, right?
It's all so new to me.
See, I'm changing up the scenery out here.
You are, and the cup too. Brizzle said, I disagree that orgasms are completely biological. Think of a woman you had really good sexual chemistry with. You knew exactly what to do to get her there, and it didn't take very long. We don't like to say it for fear of being wrong and looking stupid, but your typical woman has at least one past lover in her catalog who just knew her. Because queens are the balance of it all. We all come from a queen. Okay, let's see. From my experience, it's easier for a man to climax than a woman. 1,000%, Trinicia. I think it's more mental for women because they are not meant to have many partners. She has to be very in tune with her partner. Okay.
That's why I disagree.
Speak on it.
Here's the thing. Men, human beings are not monogamous creatures by nature. If that was the case, we would naturally be like seahorses and all the other animals that once they mate, there is no breaking until the other animal dies. Right. That is not but once again, from a societal standpoint, society shapes us to believe what we believe about ourselves as human beings. Every last one of us have had multiple partners.
Speak for yourself, Chavez.
And when you went into a situation, with a new partner, that new partner got all your attention, and you had the same exact fun, or maybe a little bit less or a little bit more than you've had with a previous partner, until either something happens where you no longer feel the same way around that person, or they didn't satisfy you. So we can literally go from person to person still feeling an excitement about a sexual excitement about the next person that we go into a situation with. It doesn't stop with us.
What'd you say, Ashante?
I think that's mostly for men when he said.
Because I know most.
I can't bounce from peen to peen.
I'm not saying.
I know what you're saying. No, I'm being light. I'm making light what you're saying.
Yeah.
So Jay says not necessarily monogamous, but she's letting a man into her that's way more intimate and requires a lot more trust.
Exactly.
So he said, Tony said,
even before the entering part, just to let him in your space requires a lot of trust. Women get physically abused, hurt, beat, murdered by men. Like, we can't be lackadaisical with that. And I think that a lot of men are offended by women protecting their space, because I know for me, it's like I meet men and they want to quickly be in my space, and I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know. I'm not a bad person. Yeah, just because you say it doesn't mean that you're not.
That's not
like, I have to trust you before I let you into my space.
Right. And Tony is disagreeing. He said, Jay is agreeing with you, Lashante, but Tony Smith is disagreeing with you, Chavez. He says, sorry, buddy, we are not animals. We choose to have a lot of partners. Now, I want to move on to this because when we were talking about being so difficult for a woman to climax, so many guys brought up sex toys. So many guys brought up sex toys and women being desensitized. But this is the thing, because we said, why is it that a woman could easily climax and within 2 minutes or whatever when she's pleasing herself, but with a guy, some women have never had it. And I don't even mean like vaginal versus clitoral. Like there are some women who cannot climax even with a man orally. But definitely vaginally, the majority of women, according to polls, the majority of women do not that they can't, but they don't climax through penetration. But they can do it through the oral. So the question was, okay, if the men were saying it's because they've desensitized themselves because of overstimulation. But my thing is this, that would happen over time. If that did happen out over time, it would have to be somebody doing all the time. There are women who do not do it on a regular basis that still do not get pleased by a man. So I want to take that argument off the table because no one is going to disagree with science that if you overly beat it up, then it could, run that thing.
Take it easy.
But that's not science. I've never read that anywhere.
So what are you drinking? Are you drinking water?
That's some internet myth type stuff. You're not going to see any doctor or OBGYN or anybody that has any type of medical degree say that is something that can actually happen.
That is your homework because
that's only something that's in theory, but that's not a real thing.
I have not.
What, desensitizing?
Well, yes.
No, you can't.
No, desensitizing is a real thing, especially when it comes to your nerves. If you overstimulate a nerve, you can definitely
damage. You can do damage.
But that has to be like really, really over the top use. Like who doing that? Like
girl, you'd be surprised. Sexual addiction is.
Have you seen some of these toys?
That gotta be like every hour on the hour for you to break it. You trying to look.
But have you seen some of these dang toys?
Broken clitoris. Who is this chick out here with this broken clitoris? I need to know what she is.
What I will say is this. I think what it can do is it can cause you to get a release from a stimuli that is not a normal stimuli that you would have in sex with a man. And the vibrations of that you will not have in having sex with a man. We don't have vibrations like that.
But they do have a toy that goes on a man that does vibrate.
Yeah, but now you're bringing more toys into the situation, and some of these toys.
I've used sex toys.
Did you see how
I have not been in a situation where the man could not stimulate me or get me to where I need to be. I just want to put that out there. I think that women use sex toys or whatever the case may be, but I don't think that bars them from being with a man. Now, it may not be the same thing. I don't feel like the orgasm will be as intense as it is with the sex toy, but I don't feel like she just can't get there anymore because she's using a sex toy.
And that's a good point, LaShante, because if one man's able to get her there but another man isn't, then that's not her thing being broken. That's
exactly.
Right.
Because nobody who has a broken one is gonna just want to. I mean, like we talk about something that doesn't work anymore. So why is she's out here having sex and it don't work no more? Like, I'm sorry, that seems really extreme to me. I don't feel like that is something that can connect the dots and make sense. Like,
well, you might be, LaShante, you might be one of those people. You might be one of those people that can do a drug and walk away from it. But some people do a drug and they're hooked. So a stimuli could affect us all.
But I think that's an exception to the rule. That's not the rule. So I don't feel like a woman that's addicted to the sex toy can be compared to every other woman that's used it a couple times and are out here still having sex.
She can't get work done. She's over here.
Right. That has to be. We gotta.
Matter of fact, you guys, I gotta go. Let's wrap this week.
Yeah. We can't just say every woman that's ever used a sex toy is now desensitized. Like, boy, stop. That is not what's happening out here in these streets.
I feel like, to me, I personally felt attacked as a woman because I felt like the men were using that as a way, like, not us, don't look over here. Like, it's not, couldn't be anything to do with us. Like,
Right.
it's your parts
It
that
don't
are
work
broken.
no more. That's your fault. You was using it and now it don't work no more. No.
You broke it.
It's
broke
still
it.
work.
You
You
broke
broke
that
it.
bean one
You
too many
broke it. What
times.
you want me to do with your broken stuff? Listen, sir. It's working perfectly fine. Don't even do that.
He said, and this is Jay brought up something I was going to bring up. Most men masturbate earlier before a big night if they want to knock out.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that one.
Don't do that.
He said because they last.
I feel like if it makes them last longer.
He said
No, because most men, once they ejaculate, a lot of them cannot get hard for a good while.
But you're talking about later in the day, though?
Huh?
Talking about like
if you're coming to my house,
look at Keanu Doug looking. Look at Keanu Doug looking though.
Right. Because I've heard a lot of men say that they gotta get that first one.
Yeah, I'm looking at their
release
faces.
yourself before you came to my house, and then I'm left with a gummy worm.
But I think that's different. They're not saying they're gonna do it right before. So what guys have said is that they get so excited, especially if it's been a little while, that it's just and it's almost impossible. So let's just get that little dud out the way that nobody wants to know about, and then you have a little stamina. It's like, I would imagine it would be trying to, I don't know. I was gonna use an example, but that's gonna sound really crass, so I'm just not gonna use that example. But they have more control. But I don't think they're talking about like when you're having intercourse, it's like you have it one time and then you turn around and try to have it again. I'm imagining, because obviously I don't have a member, but I'm imagining it's like hours prior.
Well, remember something about Mary, where when Ben Stiller showed up.
Yeah.
Showed up and he didn't know.
And that's what I always think of. When men say that, yes, when men say it's like hair gel.
She was like,
oh, you have some hair gel.
Nah, she didn't know that. Come on now, Mary. You knew that was not good. Just stop.
Mary hadn't seen this show. She didn't know.
This fool had it on his ear. Though. That was hilarious.
So
I love that movie. I still love that.
He said pregame.
Looking for where it went, like he was looking for it.
Hold on. Jay done dropped the W word. Jay said, my wife, excuse me, officer. First of all, how I didn't know you were married. And
I knew he was married. He talk about that wife every now and then. But yeah, I knew he was married.
The last I saw, I never see his post.
Yeah, but you know me, my antennas.
Hold on, is that Jay? Is that JK? Is that JK?
No, Jay Smithfit, the trainer.
Yeah.
So I never see your posts anymore, Jay. So I don't know what's happening with you. But the last I saw, you were like madly in love, and the last time you and I talked. So my God, it's been a while. I missed a whole nuptial. So congratulations.
Hey,
no, but he was posting something, and somebody came behind him and was like, "But you married." Yeah.
Wait. No, you're probably talking about a different Jay.
Oh,
you're talking about Baldwin. You're talking about Baldwin. No, this is a fitness trainer. And look, shots at Jay. He's over 6 feet tall. Not the other Jay. I'm teasing because Jay Baldwin.
Which Jay you talking about that's over 6 feet tall?
Mr. Married over here. But the other married guy, Jay, he always allows himself for being short. So I'm teasing him, but he went there first. He opened the doors to that first. But guys, when you're talking about pre-gaming, you're talking about hours, I'm assuming, right? Hours beforehand, not
I've never done that.
That's not your ministry.
Hey, look,
I've never done that.
Back when I was
he don't need that.
Oh, he said he got off social media and deleted it all. Okay, now I don't feel so bad. So that's why I was in the dark. Well, congratulations and thank you so much for joining in. I feel even more special that you came in. He said it takes about 15 minutes and a Red Bull to come back. To get back around too, he said. I love that. All right, so why is it, my next question, why is it that women use sex toys more than men? And before men say, we don't use sex toys, the sex industry says very much otherwise. And
white men.
But then y'all was also born with sex toys.
You said what?
This is listen, what I was trying to get at earlier, to tell you earlier is this. Most of us brothers don't really feel the need to experiment, right? From the time we like 7, 8, 9 years old, we didn't learn how to dilly and dally with our wanker. You know what I'm saying? So to go out to go out and buy something that we're going to use. Now here's what I will say. Back in the late 90s, I did stop by a shop, and I did see something that looked a little wild. It was called a pocket. It was called a pocket P, and I'm not going to say it, but it's on YouTube.
I was just gonna say.
And here's the thing. I ended up buying it. Right. I bought it.
You okay?
I bought it, and I tried it. Right. I bought it and I tried it. At the end of the day, for me, it was a waste of money because it took more work. And it was really weird. And it was really weird.
It was
so
foreign.
It was like I bought it, used it one time, and never used it again.
So where is it?
Did you resell it on Overstock?
Oh, that's still back in Chicago in the trunk. That's in the Chicago in the trunk somewhere.
So you
At your
kept it
mama
for good
house.
measure.
At your mama house. It's at your mama house.
Up under at her house, up under the steps in a locked trunk, like with 3 locks on it.
Someone's gonna find a good surprise when they unpack that. Why Gator talking mess? He said, I believe that the queens came up with the toys. He's trying to say that women came up with the sex toys. But here's the thing.
No,
I don't think we will ever.
Sex toys for women.
You said what?
I said men invented sex toys for women.
See, now I don't know to be able to speak on that, but I will say this. Sales don't lie, and women do buy more sex toys than men. And here's the thing. I would say, judging off of the comments in my group alone, most men are not going to be comfortable buying or having a toy based off of the reactions alone. There were men in the group talking about, a real man just uses his hand, and that people throwing that real man terminology out there, or who does that, or just all this judgment. And for me, I don't like judgment. I really don't, because it's, we preach, to each his own. But then at the same time, we're so quick to knock the other person. Like, you like it, I love it. As long as I don't have to participate or whatever. Like, I have guy friends who have had stuff. There was something called a flesh light.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Look that up. Google that. Okay.
They have other ones that look like actual. That's
right.
Not a light, but like the whole.
Well, this is a tube. This is a tube. Like, the old banking where you.
I have seen those.
The little thing comes up and you put your money in.
But I've seen the ones that have like the hips.
Yes.
Like it's like a butt.
It's a device you can thrust into. Yeah.
But understand this. But understand this about men, and Keon and Doug can hop in here. At the end of the day, for us, the orgasm is not complex at all. There's no complexities with ourselves and with the women. So we literally don't need all of this extra stuff. No, we don't need the extra stuff. Like we really don't. Like you guys, because remember, because sex typically ends with us releasing. So you, as a woman, might still be unfulfilled. And I've had homegirls and friends tell me like, yo, they had dudes that as soon as the dude bounced, they hit the drawer. We don't have those issues, so we don't really need the toys.
But here's Chavez. You said we don't need the toys. However, here's the theory. So just like with gambling and addictions and things like that, when you're addicted to something, it's harder to get the high, right? You said that earlier. It's hard to get the high. So theoretically, based on what you said, perhaps the people who are addicted, it's harder for that man to get that climax. Because they need something freakier and freakier and freakier, right? They need something more, because if they start out with the hand, then that's not enough. And then they have this toy and they have that toy. So you said a power tool.
Well, damn.
Right. Hey.
But that might be why.
They need to be worried about these 12-inch dildos that you got.
But wait a minute.
That's like big.
I'm so glad you said.
Y'all worried about the wrong thing.
I was just gonna say, LaShante, the funny part is that okay, people talk about the dildo and all the stuff and this big old thing. Most women opt for this tiny lipstick-sized little vibrator.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
We ain't worried about all this.
I don't like inserts.
Okay, look, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play.
Unless it's connected to a living being. She like unless it's connected to a
I'm
living
gonna play
being.
devil's advocate.
Yes, unless it's connected to a living being.
Monica said, Monica says, not my testimony.
Chicks out here that's going for the whole thing. Like they literally
look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Speak your truth,
now,
girl.
I love, a good vibrator. But, a nice dildo with the suction cup, you just take that bad boy in the bathroom, in the shower sometimes, just do what you gotta do.
And that's why I don't understand how women are saying that they don't come from penetration, because they have these things that penetrate that makes them get there.
I think sometimes if to go back really quick, when Yonci said that some women don't come from clitoral stimulation or vaginal penetration, I think a lot of that may be a trauma from the past.
I agree. There's something's going on.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of women, have some things going on with them. So I agree with you, Monica. I agree with you.
Absolutely. And then, sex isn't talked about. I'm grateful that, my mother talked to me and my sister about sex. So that way, and then when we got older, we've kind of figured it out.
I'm mad he said we can squirrel with 99-cent baby oil. I'm so mad. Someone else said that the reason for
the pH balances like that.
Exactly.
Someone said that Jay said that the toys are for women to keep them from having too many partners is a trust factor, and men enjoy the chase. So masturbating decreases the primal urge. So he's saying that a lot of women
can't get pregnant. We can't get a VD. We don't have to worry about no problems coming from that man. It takes, and then you might be just dealing, I'm just dealing with me at the moment.
And you're not out the $40,
Right. Anything else?
They're funky 40.
Okay, I'm looking
at these. I'm trying to figure out when it got reduced to $40. I think that's beyond my generation. That's some generations above. That's above me. It's above me now. Like what?
It's like I feel like the value should have been a lot higher in the 70s. How are we in 2020? And it's
if we have $40,
I think because it's so freely given now, you can just swipe and have it that same night.
I swear on Superfly and the Mac.
It took a nosedive.
Yeah. I swear on Superfly and the Mac, I swear I heard them mention $75, $80. You know what I'm saying? That's 70s, those 70s movies. You know what I'm saying?
My last question regarding sex toys. Do we think that there is a correlation between a man masturbating too much and watching a lot of porn and having erectile dysfunction? Like, can you break your wanker?
I don't think that's a question for me.
Because that's definitely not one. Because I have heard people say that their partner struggles, to get aroused and all that stuff, and it's because the wife is trying to compete with Becky, whose head is spinning around and spinning through the chandeliers.
Yeah, I don't think so. With that, I think a lot of that deals with your health. Okay, what are you eating? Are you exercising? Those kind of things. What type of foods you're eating? There's videos you can actually watch where they say, hey, if you're having problems with erectile dysfunction, eat more of this, drink more of this, and those kind of things. That's more with your diet and your health than, okay, you're masturbating too much.
Yeah, I don't think I'm with him. There's research that they can do. I didn't know that there were videos that you could watch.
No, but I do think that you can quite possibly, as a man, if you're watching too much pornography and your partner doesn't resemble what you're watching, and you're watching it a lot, I think that can impact how you may approach your partner sexually.
And you be sensitive.
You know what I'm saying?
Like some people can make the separation.
Yeah, Jay says that it's proven. There's studies done about the psychology of watching too much porn and masturbating connecting to erectile dysfunction. That it's not that you physically are damaged, it's that a mental, just like a woman who's been traumatized, it's not that her parts
mental,
don't work.
Right?
Yeah, her
I think most of it, but I really believe, I believe most of it is mental. I mean, I believe a lot of the things are mental. I know for, as for me, there's a lot of it that's mental, but then, a big good portion of it is visual. Because if I'm not if I don't see it, it's not going to work.
How big of a portion would you say is?
Look at you. I'm serious. Yonci, like how big?
I mean, like seriously, like
I get it.
I know
though.
people get out there and get caught up with all this idea and stuff about
You're
type.
sapiosexual.
To me, that's a real deal. I mean, because if I'm not physically attracted to you, it's not going to work up here.
Amen.
I don't care what's going on in the southern hemisphere. If I'm not visually caught up in the situation, and if it's not going to work.
And reverse, if she's gorgeous,
and
but she's a pain in your neck, after a while, it doesn't matter how.
Those two different. But no, if visually, if you good, I mean, we'll figure something out visually. But yeah, we'll figure something out.
We can work with that.
We can work with that. We can work with that.
We can work on it.
I mean, the bigger her blessings, the more we can work. Okay. All right. So I want to get to this. So let's get real, everybody. Okay. If I was Mr. Rogers, I'd be putting my cardigan on right now and changing my shoes. But we had a lot of giggles, but I really want to get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, we're gonna get into some real discussions about sex. One of the things that I want to just shed a little bit of light on. We don't need to stay on this topic for too long, but I want to talk about the alarming number of men who have been molested as children by female predators. A lot of times we hear about, male predators and the uncle did this and my dad or whatever. But when I tell you, I have had so many friends and ex-boyfriends open up and talk about, I mean, it's so common. Like the teacher, I knew a guy who had a teacher, I think she was high school teacher. And she would have him stay after class and, do some wild things that I won't say on YouTube. And now he has like a pretty serious sex addiction. I knew a guy who was just walking home from school every day, and one of the ladies who lived along the walk path, she kind of groomed him and asked him if he wanted to help her around her house, make a little bit of money, do something strange for some change. He didn't know at the time that he had to do something strange. He thought he was just going to help her with different things. So she started out by doing actual tasks. And then she called him into the bedroom, and then it was like, I'm just dumbfounded at the stories, just story after story after story. But because society glamorizes sex, and from a small age, we joke about, oh, he's going to be a lady killer, and oh, yeah, da-da-da-da. And the women joking saying, oh, yeah, if you were, a little bit older, ha-ha-ha, and all this stuff, which is just not cute, then, everyone thinks it's okay. And so... Sorry, I don't know why this thing is not charging in here. Okay, so, and if it goes out, God forbid, Lord, I thought my phone was plugged in, charging through this cable, but apparently it's not. Anyway, and so I just want people to know that if that has happened to you, you are not an anomaly. It happens a lot. Not to say it's not important, but you're not alone is what I'm trying to say. And that there is no shame in it. And you did not deserve that. It was not something that was supposed to happen. There's nothing cute. There's nothing cool about it. And that's not something that should be acceptable. I think it's horrible. And any woman who is preying on little children, I've heard stories about teenage girls practicing with 12-year-olds, and this, which to me is just disgusting in itself. But it's not okay. And so if something happens, speak up. Speak to somebody. And just like the male predators, women need to be called out as well. It's not cute, even though society thinks that, oh, you're a man now. No, you are a child who was taken advantage of. If you are not consenting, I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're over 18 or over 21. If you're not consenting, you're not consenting. So it's not cool. It's not okay. Jay says his cousin was molested as a child and he has a sex addiction as well. It cost him his family. It's so sad. Erica said, yes, it's not okay. Tony says very much a problem. So I just wanted to say that
I know someone who actually is known within our community, and ended up dating someone who's very well known, and word on the street was he was like really bad womanizer, like very, very bad womanizer. And then comes out like years later that some friends of his mom that took advantage of him, 2 friends of his mom took advantage of him when he was younger.
I know who you're talking about.
Bing. And it really like, it made me look differently because now I'm like, wow, reputation is bad out here in these streets, but seemed like a good guy. Mm-hmm. But reputation when it came to dealing with women was not good. And like to find out, and then when he shared the story, it was just like kind of like, it wasn't even, it was bad enough that, that it was like that. But then he was like, they weren't even attractive.
They weren't even, yeah.
So,
and a lot of those people end up being not sexual predators necessarily, but just overly sexed. Like they don't have sex because they like the person or they're into them or they want that intimacy. It's an addiction that they're just craving. And then the women are traumatized as a result. Even if they didn't get raped by that man, they're stressed out because it's like, why does this man talking to me? He doesn't even like me. It's because he just needed a vagina. It's this perpetual. It's horrible. I can't say.
That's a question that I ask a lot, like with the guys that I deal with, and I feel like for the most part, they say that their first experience with somebody was with someone that was much older than them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I have sons, and because that was something that I heard a lot early on, I don't know why, but it just became a question I would ask, not even with people that I was, in a relationship with or anything, just like guys I would encounter, I would want to know because I guess I heard it early on and it traumatized me. But I was like, who are these old women? Mm-hmm. But the average guy that I met, they said that, their first sexual partner was somebody that was 8, 7 to 10 years older than them.
And a lot of times it's a family friend. Mama's friend.
Or sometimes, and with my sons, I was very protective over my sons, and we had a very open conversation about that because I didn't want that to happen to them.
Right. I know, like my ex-boyfriend, he was molested by his cousin.
Right. And I've heard neighbors, cousins, aunties, like it's sick.
Check this out, Robert Kelly, better known as R. Kelly.
There it is.
His sister used to do that to him and his brother. Yeah. When they were young.
Yeah.
It's really sad. And it's such a cycle because
I've heard stepmoms, aunties, neighbors, like Tyler Perry. That's Tyler Perry's story too.
Wow.
He was like he was molested by men and women. And yeah, so it's like
I feel like with Donnie McClurkin.
I feel like that's the elephant in the room when it comes to Black men and women, and it's something that we don't discuss. That there's a lot of molestation in the Black community, and we never address it. But we are trying to deal with all the manifestations of it. Because you have a lot of women out there that's never going to be sexually they're never going to get where they need to be sexually because they're dealing with all this sexual trauma.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gator says that don't tell our business in the streets to our young Black men in the homes growing up. That's one. I definitely agree. I also want to talk about men using sex to boost their ego. I say there's no shame in my plug, so it's a shameless plug. But I'm doing a video about sex in the next couple of days, and I want to explore men using sex and just interactions with women as ego boosters. A lot of times when people are not confident in themselves, they will use outside things to boost their feelings about themselves, whether it's a fancy car or a high-paying job, wearing flashy clothes. For a lot of men, they are looking at that as a status symbol or things like that. And so I would recommend any man watching this, if you find that you are looking for quantity and you are looking for just, constant affirmations from women, maybe you're hitting them up and keeping them on the hook even though you don't really want them. Just you're that guy that's constantly, what are you doing? And you literally don't want anything. Or you go ghost for 2 weeks and then pop back up. Really take some time to think, am I using women to get a feeling of satisfaction that really is supposed to come from within? And if that's the case, subscribe to my channel. I'll teach you how to find your purpose. All right. I want to talk about losing virginity. We do have some teens that do watch this, so hopefully if they watch, they're getting an education. But I would say, I want to pose this to you guys, and again, you can always plead the fifth, but do you regret losing your virginity when you did? And this question is only for people who consented, because obviously if that choice was taken from you, you didn't have a choice. But for those of you who consented, as an adult now, the age that you are, do you wish you had held off a little bit longer, or perhaps a lot longer?
I wish I held off a little bit longer. I lost my virginity when I was 19. And it was with my high school boyfriend. I mean, we had been dating since I was 15. But I was also known as the prude in high school. I just wasn't giving it up. But I wish I had a little bit longer to give it up, because it wasn't what I thought, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. My mom's way of teaching, giving us that abstinence talk was, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt so bad. So I was like, oh my God, I definitely don't want to do that. And you know what I mean? So it's like, and I know that, he was young. He was trying to like, okay, come on, let's try to get this. So I did things, I just wasn't doing that. Right. And then I was like, okay, I'm an adult now. Let me try it out. I talked to some of my girlfriends that was having sex, and they was like, well, after a few times, it's not that bad. So I was like, all right, let me try it. And I did. And
did you feel like he wore you down? Sorry to cut you off, but do you feel like he wore you down? Meaning, if he hadn't brought it up to you, do you think you would have had it that soon?
I feel that I felt pressure. Part of me felt pressured because it's like, okay, I'm 19. He was 20 years old. He was in the military. It's like, if I don't do it, he's gonna do it somewhere else. Hindsight, he was doing it everywhere else. But, I was like, okay, so part of it was pressure, and part of it was like, I want to do it. Yeah. But looking back, I wish I would have waited.
Yeah. And I think a lot of women feel like they're going to lose a guy, so they cave. It's not rape, but it's definitely pressure. That was the word I was thinking in my head, pressure. There's this pressure to do it versus it totally being up to her and being like, this is what I want to do today, whether it's your first time or any time. Anyone else want to share whether or not they wish they had waited longer?
For me, no, not really, because I actually, from my friends around, I actually was waiting longer than a lot of them did. But the person, yes, definitely would have been not the person, but like I waited longer than normal, quote unquote, than some of my friends and all that stuff and everything. I was just, my mom, was a nurse and all that, so she, gave me pamphlets to read about STDs and all that kind of stuff. Right. And I was like, okay, my dad taught me as well too. I was like, okay. So I just like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of just wait a little bit and all that stuff. But I don't regret the age that I did it in. Okay. Anything like that. I waited longer than typically.
You felt like you were ready. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was the same thing. I mean, mine probably is on the same lines. I was the athlete. I was the All-American guy athlete there at school. And so what my stepdad told me, you don't want to have no babies because that's going to mess up your future. It's kind of like, but when I did it, it was with my high school girlfriend, and it was one of those things. We were together, and that's what it was. I mean, we were together from my freshman year in high school all the way to 2 years in college. So we were together. So I didn't regret anything.
You were going together.
Yeah, we were going together. Now, after we broke up, I lost my mind for a little while. I mean, for a little stretch, I was out of control, but
But you'd already popped the cork, so.
Hey, you can't put it back in there. I'm just.
You sure can.
My bad. I mean, I'm sorry.
So my question would be, for those of you with children, or if you want children one day, would you want your children to wait longer than you did, or is there an age that you feel they are mature enough emotionally to really make that decision for themselves?
Would definitely, I don't have any kids, but I would definitely want them to be older than I was.
I think for me, I have a, and it's kind of a double standard. So I'm just going to put that out there. Mm-hmm. You know, I have a 6-year-old daughter now. She's daughter, but I have all other nieces. Okay. And I have one nephew, you know, but it's out there. If you have a son, just typically speaking, you know, you come in from work and you hear something going on in the room. You got a son, he's got the captain of the cheerleading squad in there. It's like, hey, you know, way to go. However, you come in there and I got my daughter, you got some dude up in there ready to blow him up. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it all boils down to open communication. How much time? I mean, you really have to have those open lines of communication with your kids, so they'll be able to come and talk to you about those things.
Yeah. For me, and I have a daughter and a son. My son is 10 and my daughter's 11, and I remember my daughter talking to me about a guy liking her. She said, well, hey, I told him I had to come talk to you first because he asked me to be his girlfriend. So I just asked him some questions, you know, and I just said, well, hey, how do you feel like this? Okay, what would you do if the person wanted this? I was picking her brain to see how she was thinking. So I would tell him I'm not comfortable. I said, okay. So, of course, I would want her to wait longer. It's just like he was saying, it's just kind of a double standard thing where, you know, I tell my daughter, hey, on her birthday, I told her, I said, well, I'm going to look at you as my little girl no matter how old you get. So I'm always going to do you like that. No matter that, so I know Keon can relate. Like, I'm looking at you as my little girl no matter if you're 25, 30, I still think you're my little girl no matter what. So I would just want both of them to just feel comfortable. And I've always told them, I want you to feel comfortable to come talk to me about anything, no matter what it is. And for those kind of things, I would hope that they trust me enough to have conversations about that for me to give, you know, real life experience, give some insight on some things, just to, hey, that's something special. So you can't, once that's given away, you can't get that back. So just make sure that you waited. And I'll talk to both of them about, hey, you know, go to college, do all these things here, get married, then have kids. Don't have kids before all that. You know, enjoy your time with just doing these other things. That kind of stuff can wait. So I've kind of planted seeds in them now, so it'll grow to fruition as they get older, and then of course they can make that decision.
Right.
They're gonna make that decision on their own, but you hope that you plant enough good seeds that they know, okay, well, hey, I have enough information to make a good informed decision about that.
Would you say that the majority of people are having sex out of a choice, or do you think a lot of people are feeling compelled, meaning either it's an urge that they cannot say no to, or they're feeling pressure? Do you think that the majority of people are just doing it because this is what I want to do in this moment, or do you think it's more of being out of control?
I think that it's a choice. And can I ask that? I think that a lot of them are doing it out of choice, and I think it boils down to the age. Obviously, I work at a high school, so I want to ask this question. I mean, I know you're the one that asks the questions, but I got a serious question though, because there are a lot of young ladies that are being with a girl because they don't want to say that they've had a guy that have done that to them. So conversely, what they do is they are with a girl. Do you think that that's one of the things that kind of goes into that because they don't want to do that?
That goes into
say that they're doing it?
I missed the part. What goes into what? Restate the last part.
They don't want to have penetration, and so they're going with not from a guy. Mm-hmm. So they'll just be with the girl.
And you're saying, do I think that's the reason for what?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I was saying, and you're asking, do I think that them hooking up with other women is the reason for what exactly?
Because they want to say that they're.
Oh, you're saying is that why they're having woman-on-woman interaction, because they don't want to have that?
Right.
I'm sure there are some people who really value, penetration and like they want to save that. I mean, I would think it's safe to say that there are some people, I mean, a lot of people do a lot of things so that they can keep that purity,
Right.
but the irony is that a lot of the ideas of purity come from the Bible, and the Bible talks about even just the thought makes you impure. So, I mean, you kind of missed that boat anyway, but I'm sure that definitely wouldn't be out of it. I know a lot of women have woman on woman because they don't want to deal with the emotional side dealing with a man, with the past trauma and feeling out of control and things like that. But I definitely think
but here's the wild thing though. I've heard from friends who are lesbians that the emotional drama is even higher sometimes with another woman.
I've heard the same thing because you have two of the same,
So what I'm wondering is, is it more of a situation where it's like not necessarily you don't have the emotional drama, but you're more emotionally supported. You know what I'm saying? Like because with guys in teenage years, we ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. You telling us you love us and you like all this other stuff, and it's just like whatever.
A woman's bond is much different than a man's bond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's true. We naturally can like two platonic girlfriends could sit there playing with each other's hair and cuddling on the couch and or consoling each other when one of them had heartache or whatever. Nothing sexual, and there's a way that we know how to pour into each other. We know what to ask. We know what to say. We know, like, the guy might come in like, no, she don't need that right now. Like, we just intuitively know. And so I would imagine that would be there. That's why guys have joked with me like, you need a gay boyfriend because, like, you want us to be this listening ear and all this stuff. And I'm like, I just need to be emotionally intelligent. But the reason why I say I don't think a lot of people are having sex by choice is because I think it's a compulsion for a lot of people. I think that sex is a huge distraction for men, especially. Like, so many men say, oh my God, I got off of my purpose because I was chasing tail. I spent so many years that I just could never get back because I was chasing tail. And I don't think it was that they were looking for a partner and they wanted to reproduce and start a family. It was that they were horny. And I think that a lot of people feel compelled. And I think that our society, we don't teach a lot of controlling yourself. We don't, it's not cool. Everything is about hedonism, like go out and do it. If it makes you happy, go do it. Go, eat to the point of being obese and consume as much as you can to the point of addiction. And that's why I want to challenge people. I don't care being the weirdo that's preaching something different, but take faith aside out of it. Because anybody could go, oh, that's because of your faith. But take that out of it. Sex is such a distraction when it's not in the proper context of life. And I think that it causes people to get in fights they didn't need to get into. You have a lot of issues. You've got the disease, you've got the kids that were not planned and or wanted sometimes. You have people who lose track of their focus. You have people that are staying in relationships way longer than they should because it's so good. What is so good. I just want people to really think about it. Like, when you're having sex, is it because you're just choosing to? That's the headboard that we know and love. Is it that you're choosing to, or is it, or are you feeling compelled? That's what I want to give. Basically, that's my closing thought that I got to prematurely. I prematurely got to my point. You get what I'm saying here, but that's really the overall thing that I want people to leave with. I want to say thank you so much, you guys, for she said, oh my goodness, she said PHUCK boys. I can't pronounce that out loud. I want to say thank you so much, you guys, for joining. You guys were an all-star cast. You had me crying, had me reaching for tissues out here. This was incredible. As always, you're welcome to stick around, muted of course, for me to do my closing thoughts with everybody, and then I'll say goodbye to the end. Otherwise, if you have to dip, God bless you. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I am going to try, let's see here, to get my my affairs in order here. Hold on, guys. I'm struggling here with my my webcam.
Can I say something right quick?
Yeah. I am really struggling with my whole life.
If there's any deltas out there, our Founders Day is coming up on Wednesday. It'll be 108 years. Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. Just have to put that out there. If I have any deltas that's watching, Alpha Tau.
I love that. All right, guys, sit tight. Sit tight, get comfy, and of course, mute yourself. All right, guys, so my little phone fell off the phone stand, but that's pretty good because I have to charge it anyway. But I want to say thank you so much for watching, you guys. Let me get to my, y'all, I got this all, see, I'm trying to get it together. I want to let you know that each week our audience is growing. We have a couple hundred people right now in 2021. And so as time goes on, it's going to grow because obviously content on YouTube is evergreen. So if you have a business or product that you want to promote, you can go ahead and hit me on my DM on Instagram and start off with Sunday Night Live. And I can talk to you about advertising opportunities if you would like an affordable way to get your product in front of people, a wider audience. And go ahead and mute yourself. Make sure you guys are all muted in the background. And let me go ahead and also check. I want to see if anybody has hit me up on IG just to make sure I don't miss out shouting you guys out. Okay, cool. So I'm up to speed with everybody. But that's an opportunity if you want to advertise. I also mentioned that this show is possible because of Patreon. It's not fun to talk about money, but it's the real world and bills must be paid. So if you guys appreciate the content that I dish out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday night, as well as social media, of course, I put a lot of love and time and effort into it. And so if you want to do that, go ahead. I try to give you guys a little bit back, do some behind the scenes content and have some one-on-ones and Q&As and live videos from time to time. But more than anything, it's really just showing support until we get the big time sponsors. Okay, guys. So just putting that out there if the Lord puts it on your heart. I also shared the tip of the week a little bit in the closing, but I wanted to say that a lot of times we use sex as a tool as opposed to just being something that we're there to enjoy. Sometimes it can be a distraction from things that we don't want to think about. It could be an ego boost, making you feel like you're the man or the woman because it's this power thing and it makes you feel like you're being affirmed. A lot of times it could just be a distraction, or it could just be that you just don't know how to say no to your urges. And so I really want to encourage you to look at that, because any part of your life that is out of control, that's a negative thing. So eating is a good thing. It's necessary to live. But if you're eating too much, you could eat yourself into death or diseases that are just going to make your life miserable. Anything that you cannot do in moderation and that you don't have ultimate control over is a problem. And so I want to encourage you to look at your life and see if there are any areas of your life where you are out of control. And if you guys need some help and you want to be, thank you so much, Shanicia. If you guys want some encouragement and you want people alongside of you, I have an intimate community on Facebook. Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate that. I have an intimate community that I work with people, and each day I check in with them. We have small little bite-sized goals that we set for ourselves. I'm right there with everybody else. And each Tuesday I do a check-in and we have a video chat. So similar to how you saw all my friends there, we get together on Tuesdays and we'll talk about how our past week was and then give ourselves goals for the weeks moving forward. But there's so much that happens after you learn to discipline your mind. It is literally the foundation for everything else in life. Every single person who has really hit the mark and has had major success, I don't mean just being rich, because anybody can be born rich or you can stumble upon richness. But when you're living your purpose and you're having success in life, it all starts with that first step, which is self-control. And so the videos that I teach on YouTube on how to live the abundant life, those are general principles. But in my group, I give day-by-day instructions on how to get there. Like, what does that look like? And then, like I said, I give individual homework based on the person and what they're trying to achieve. So if you want to get more information about the Sunshine Club, which is what it's called, you can either hit me up on Instagram. There's a link in my bio there. And there's also a link in the description of this YouTube channel. It's something amazing that a couple people have taken advantage of, and it has been awesome. We had our first weekly session because I just launched it January 1st. We had our first session this past Tuesday, and oh my God, it was amazing connecting some of the people I saw here on the live. And it's one thing to get information off of an Instagram post. It's another thing to watch a YouTube video. But when you really connect and you're able to tell your story and kind of get things off your chest, and you can get specific instructions, it really helps in catapulting people to the next level. And like I said, I'm doing all the stuff that I wished I had access to 6 years ago when I was battling clinical depression. And I want to say this, you don't have to have anxiety or be depressed to be in this group or for this group to be for you. It just needs to be that you're not where you want to be. So whatever level you're on, if you want to get to the next level, you can do that with us in that community. So that's the Sunshine Club. That's my little plug there. I want to make sure I'm looking at my notes, guys, because I don't want to miss anything. I will help you crush your financial, relationship, business, mental, and physical goals. That's basically it. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this broadcast, I really don't have to tell you because you guys have been awesome. This is probably the most lit the comments have been. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. If you think that this is something that other people would want to watch, please share it with your friends, or take a screenshot and do a story and tag me. All that stuff is really, really helpful. I'm doing this from my heart. I'm motivated to try to help men and women come together in a healthier relationships. I'm tired of seeing the gender wars. I'm tired of seeing men getting used. I'm tired of seeing women getting used. And I really want to use my platform to help teach people how to be healthier independently so that we can be healthier together and strong. Shout out to Black Love. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, tell someone that you love them.